I'd like to welcome you guys to today's special edition of this program. It is very, very important to me, especially what we're doing today, because it reflects the position we stand in things back in our motherland. So, just a word of advice before we go on. I would like everybody to realize that today is not a day for trying to know. It's not about any particular person. It is about the life of a group of people who are being marginalized, who are being downtrodden, and so it is important that anybody who is going to be participating here comes with a very open mind, and a mind that is focused on solutions and the way forward. Okay, so just to let you guys know, we will have a calling, but we're not going to do the calling immediately. The calling will be later on in the show. We are going to start the show by just delving into issues and trying to look at solutions. Then we will come back later and talk about and take your calls. Yes, I promise I will take your calls. So please do not be bothered about whether we'll take your calls or not. I'm just setting up my the screen to bring our special guests on the show. While we're doing that, please, just like always, go ahead and share this video, because if you share it, it will give people who do not understand what is going on back home. It will give them an opportunity to know what is going on back home. So please go ahead and share this video. You just have to share this video as widely as you can. Please, I beg of you, go ahead and share this video. And in about 2 minutes, I'm going to bring in our brother and our special guest on this program today, in the person of Tony Nnadi, who is the Secretary General of the Lower Niger Congress. It's taken me a while to try to track him down, so I consider it a privilege to finally get him to come on the show. And I would like all of us to really appreciate the fact that he is able to honor our invitation. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to welcome to our program this morning. It is morning here in Toronto, Canada. It is mid-afternoon, close to evening in Nigeria, in Biafra land, in the Niger Delta region, and all over West Africa. I would like to welcome everybody. Tony, you are welcome to our program. Thank you so much for accepting to do this interview.
Thank you. Welcoming viewers too.
All right. Before we go on, like we always do, who is Tony Nnadi? For the benefit of those people who don't know you.
Well, Tony Nnadi is a legal practitioner from Eastern Nigeria, precisely from Arochukwu, and also Secretary General of an organization called the Lower Niger Congress. The Lower Niger Congress is the aggregation of the self-determination initiatives across the eastern half of southern Nigeria, that is the old eastern region and the old midwestern region combined and cooperating as ethnic nationalities.
Okay.
I'm sure you have a map. I'm sure you have a map of the map of 1885 that covers the Lower Niger Territory, which was what the British, combined in 1906 to begin their journey to 1914. So the Lower Niger Congress basically.
Yeah,
is,
I'm gonna go to all those details, but I just want to lay a little bit
right,
background. I know you don't like that. You
right.
don't want people to talk, but it is important that when we see your background or where you're coming from, then
Yeah,
it can make us
right.
understand why you do what you do. So, like, just in 2 minutes, what is your
Right.
how where take us through your upbringing and where you are right now, because that will help us understand who this Tony Nnadi is.
Right. Well, like all the other children, I grew up in moving around with my parents who had other things to do in other parts of the country. So I speak Yoruba. I wrote exams in Yoruba language because my father was in the uniformed services. I also went up north at some point. I went to the university from the Nigerian Defense Academy, and therefore I'm very familiar with what the matter is up north, having been there myself. And
Okay.
in the eastern part, I trained in the University of Nigeria, Enugu campus, because I read law, and having graduated from law, I did a bit of the practice, but I ended up in the oil industry, and so I have also had the privilege of going to be in that Niger Delta in the communities where these problems we are talking about from that flank happen. And being in that oil industry, I know exactly what Shell is doing, what Mobil is doing, what Chevron is doing, what Earth is doing, what Egypt is doing, and how they got there. It was a combination of all of these experiences that brought me to where I began to ask questions. Very early in life, I lost a scholarship in primary five in the western part of Nigeria because of where I came from. So I began to ask questions on this subject as early as that, quite apart from my childhood, recollections of the immediate aftermath of the war. I was actually born on the 13th of October in 1966. So I did not see the war by myself other than as a toddler. At the end of the war, I was still just 3 years. So it wasn't because I witnessed what happened in the war in that sense. But I grew up, my earliest recollections as a child, happened in the setting in which soldiers were still shuffling people around and all of that. So by the time I was coming to primary five in the other part of the country, in the western part of the country, and I lost a scholarship, it became something that raised the inquiry in the minds of this young child. And then by the time I was going to the college and then to the tertiary, I preferred to go to the Nigerian Defense Academy so that we could get into the discussion table on whatever was going wrong with Nigeria. But eventually, I ended up in law, and straight from law, after some stint in courts, I ended up in the oil industry where I had to leave in 1998 from senior executive position in the upstream, a servicing company in the upstream segment. So, in all, I have had the privilege of seeing very closely what the problem is,
Okay,
and
Tony,
therefore,
Tony, Tony,
yes,
what is the
yes.
problem? What did you find out through all your experiences? Through what do you think is the problem? What is it that you compressed and said, "Come, this is what I finally figured out is the problem." What is the problem?
Yes, these inquiries led to a research. I had to now consciously go into research of what exactly transpired from the beginning. How did we come into this union? That was the inquiry. How did we come into this union in which there are now three classes of citizens, the ones at the top, the ones in the middle, and then the ones at the bottom, which Eastern Nigeria appears to be, part of. And so it was that inquiry that took me to think the documents that led to the amalgamation of 1914. And that same inquiry took me from 1914 through all the constitutional. Remember, being a lawyer, I was looking at it from the instruments that authorized what was going on. Because in the oil industry, by the time you see the documents by which Shell was operating, I know what they do in the Gulf of Mexico. I know what they do in Saudi Arabia operations. And therefore, why are they doing something different in Nigeria? Was those the documents by which they were authorized to operate in Nigeria that hold the key to finding, to realizing that it was a transaction done not in our overall interest, but in the interest of an adverse power. And so the research about how we came into all of that had gone all the way below 1900, all the way to 1914, then 1922, then 1946, all those constitutional instruments, the orders in council of the one you talk about, Richardson Constitution, Macpherson Constitution, because it's actually the constitution that settles, like South Africa and apartheid. There was nothing you were going to do to resolve apartheid if you didn't go to what is written in black and white. And that was what changed the tempo when Oliver Tambo, the lawyer, Nelson Mandela, the lawyer, came into. They were not the ones who formed the ANC. The ANC was formed in 1912 after apartheid was introduced in 1910. But it was the arrival of these two lawyers that now began to give a different direction to the general quarrel and boxing and wrestling with white against black. What was the instrument that authorized what was happening? That was the angle from which these two lawyers came into the matter, and that now narrowed down the entire, resistance to trying to take down the apartheid constitution. So all of the research that we did brought us to where we saw that the constitutional instruments of Nigeria were designed to deliver the outcome we have, in which some are slaves and others are masters. And the whole transaction, the intervention we then designed was one that would take down that constitution and dismantle the union erected upon it, so that those who were captured here, those who have been captives of that bad arrangement set up by the British and their joint venture partners in the Sokoto Caliphate, will come out of that prison and work out fresh constitutional arrangements among themselves.
What do you
Fresh
think?
protocols.
What do you think was the bane of that their arrangement? What was it supposed to achieve in a summary? What did they have in mind, and how did they design it? What was it meant to achieve? And I know there are some maps some documents you sent to me. Whichever one you want me to put up to buttress your point, let me know and I'll pull it up. But what in simple terms was their motive? What did they finally design this agreement to look like?
Well, their motive from the documents we have, it was a joint venture. It was a British business venture, basically, and they had to work with some local agents that were also feudalists. The British feudalists. If you put up the map that is the map of Nigeria that is broken into four. If you put it up, I could then use the colors on the map to illustrate what I was saying. Put up the map that is the map of Nigeria that is in four parts. If you put it up, it was a British business venture to be able to take whatever they can take away from here for their own use. And in trying to set it up, the territory involved, the territory involved is what I'm seeing is upside down. is in reverse. I don't know.
What you're seeing is in reverse? Okay, hold on.
Yeah, the way I'm seeing it is in reverse. Just flip it around. Yes, flip it some way so you can. I can see the map of Nigeria now. For the purpose of this, what happened? The portion in green. We remember, so we can go chronological. The portion in green is where you have Sokoto to the extreme left. You remember that there's a jihad by which people from the foot of Futalejola mountain got here in 1804 to mount their flags. And they were already here pushing downwards because they also wanted to go to the Atlantic Ocean from that Sokoto. It was in course of their journey towards the Atlantic Ocean that they met another force in the Ilorin-Benue axis in the Middle Belt in the Purple area. Whereas the British came in the 1860s, remember the 1861, the Lagos colony that came into being in 1861 after some skirmishes with the local kings. You know about the Oba or Obareme. You remember King Jaja in Obobo. The British came from the Atlantic waterfront and entering from the part that is blue on the map and the part that is brown on the map. Again, they also wanted to go all the way up to whatever was left to be taken in terms of territory. He was in that push up because the surrounding areas where you have Chad and Niger and Cameroon now had all been taken by the French and the Germans as they were partitioning Africa among themselves.
Yeah.
And so it was this it by Britain take up all of whatever was remaining, that they came to this to meet with these other people who were pushing southwards. And like two robbery gangs who had to cooperate against one common target, they had their skirmishes, but decided instead of fighting to bring what they each had. So the Sokoto Caliphate brought the upper part that they already had, the portion in green, and some of the portions in purple now, whereas the British brought the portion in blue and brown, that is the southern Nigeria, and the portions leading into that purple. It was the combination of these two territories that were under different controls that became the amalgamation of 1914. But the other thing our people need to know about that, which is what our research showed, is that what was advertised as amalgamation, as if it's a coming together of equal partners, was actually an annexation of the southern part to the northern part, because you will recall that Lord Harcourt, the one after whom Port Harcourt is named, in a telegram of 1913, had described what they were about to do in 1914, that amalgamation proclamation. He had described it as a marriage between the southern lady of means and the poor northern youth. From that point, it has been a joint venture between Britain and the Sokoto Caliphate for the purpose of taking what they find in southern Nigeria. That objective has never changed, has not changed. All the constitutions Nigeria has had since 1914, which they call Order in Council, to 1922, to 1946, to 1954, to the Independence Constitution, to the one of 63, and then 79 and 99, had been to service that one business objective, to take all of what they can find and share among themselves. The 5 producing companies in Nigeria, Shell, Mobil, Ajib, Alf, and Chevron, all of them are owned by this foreign, the British and their friends out there. And then the NNPC that has to work with them is only the agent of that their agent. It is called Federal Government of Nigeria, but all of us can see that it has become more of a caliphate government, not federal government, because if you look at all of those who are in control of all kinds of things, you will see who is actually in control of that joint venture on ground here. And what we're saying is that the constitution by which it is all now currently documented, we also had to trace how we came about the one on the table, the one that is the 1999 constitution, to see exactly the mechanisms. It doesn't matter whether a Jonathan becomes president or an Obasanjo becomes president from other parts, the structures that have been created, the states that have been created, the number of local governments we have and where they are, the exclusive list, all of the workings of those things were designed to bring us to where we are now, such that no matter how much we strive, all our assets have been seized by that joint venture. And that joint venture dictated the content of that constitution. Many of our people do not know that the document they call the 1999 constitution was actually the victory charter imposed by the side that won the war of 1967 to 1970 from 1975. It was Murtala Mohammed that commissioned that the draft that became 1979 constitution, which was carried forward in 1999, just adding the state they created in the interval. Immediately, Murtala Mohammed overthrew Gowon in 1975. The whole reason for which they went to the war was now to capture without challenge, because before then, you remember that the constitutions of the constitution of 1960 to 1963, the one that had regional autonomy at the center of it, was one in which everybody was in charge of his own affairs. And it was like a setback in that period for that joint venture. They didn't quite like what was going on. And if we had more time, we could delve into what led to the coup itself, the coup of January 1966. If you back up a little, you are going to see that it wasn't in 1965 or 66 that the problem began. You recall that on the 29th of May in 1962, the constitution of the Western region was suspended by the federal government of that time, and one thing led to the other. Law and order broke down, and it came to where, the Western region of the country became ungovernable, what the one they call the Wild West. It was the fallout, direct fallout from that illicit intervention in the affairs of the Western region of the time that led to what became the coup of January in 1966.
Tony,
By
Tony,
July,
hold on,
yes,
Tony. Let me ask you a question. There's
yes,
one of the there's an I just pulled out something from a couple of things that we exchanged. This
yes,
statement, a lot of people have argued that this was not made by Ahmadu Bello. I don't know if you can see that statement, but it says that the new nation called Nigeria should be an estate of our great grandfather Uthman Dan Fodio. We must
yes,
ruthlessly prevent a change of power. We use the minorities of the North as willing tools and the South as a conquered territory, and never allow them to rule over us, and never allow them to control over their future. Now, here it says, Premier of Northern Nigeria, Ahmadu Bello, celebrating the ground bequest of Southern Nigeria to the North by the British Crown in the week of independence, from Parrot newspaper, 12 October 1960. I want you to speak to this alleged statement by Ahmadu Bello.
right. Going back to the map you put on display, let the viewers bear that map in mind. Let me explain to the viewers what Ahmadu Bello was celebrating. I refer to the telegram from Lord Harcourt in 1913 explaining what they were about to do in 1914.
Mm-hmm.
Let me quote from that telegram because all of these documents we are referring to are in the possession of the Lower Niger Congress, and they are already stored in the archives across the world, including the UN and places in Washington. Now, Harcourt says, and I'm quoting him in that telegram of 1913 concerning the amalgamation, so we can understand what Ahmadu Bello was referring to, what he was celebrating at the time the rest of us were popping champagne, thinking that the British were going away. I quote Harcourt. He says, "We have released Northern Nigeria from the leading strings of the treasury. The promising and well-conducted youth is now on an allowance of his own and is about to effect an alliance with a Southern lady of means. I have issued the special license, and Sir Frederick Lugard will perform the ceremony. May the union be fruitful and the couple constant." Secretary for the colonies, Lord Harcourt, who is the boss of Frederick Lugard, referring to the import and purport of the annexation of the then Southern Protectorate to the Northern Protectorate of Nigeria, cablegram of 3rd December in 1913. Now, what Ahmadu Bello was saying is that these estates that have been handed over to us must remain our property. That is the Nigeria itself, the entire Nigeria. I was talking about three classes. The political successors of Ahmadu Bello and Uthman Dan Fodio, their great-grandfather, are the ones who arrogate to themselves the ownership of that estate, which is why they say they are born to rule you, which is why they tell us to our faces that everything belongs to them all the way to Bayelsa, including the oil there. Now, because by themselves they cannot overrun the rest of the country, they had to bring to their own bosom the middle belt, the people, because the northern Nigeria of the time, the three regions that went into independence was the northern Nigeria, which is the purple and the green, and then the western Nigeria, western region that is blue, and the eastern region that is basically brown now. The Midwest that was created in 1963 is part of that brown as we have it now. So we have the eastern region and the Midwestern region together in that brown part. That is the south and the southeast I will come back to why we had to bring it back together again, and what arrangements are in place to make sure that all of those who are in that part will have unfettered their right to self-determination, as small as they are, whether they're Ogoni or Ishekiri or Isoko or Ijo or Igbo or Anang or Efik. The map you first put on display, the one of 1885, delineates all of who is in that brown part.
Okay,
But there are different nationalities.
Okay,
so
sorry.
back to what Ahmadu Bello was saying. Ahmadu Bello was saying to his lieutenants, the ones he put in the army, all of those people who created all the states and all the local governments from that part of the country. He was saying to them that everything must be done to keep things the way they are. The constitution we have on the table now came from that battle script of 1960 from Ahmadu Bello. If you put on the map of Nigeria, all of those who actually created the structures that were now consolidated in 1999 as constitution, you will see where they came from. The ones who created the states, from the Gowon of 1967 that created the 12 states, to the Murtala Mohammed that took it to 19, to the Abacha that came, and the Babangida before him, you could see that those are the lieutenants of Ahmadu Bello we're talking about. Where were the officers from the rest of Nigeria? Again, talking about the willing tools from the Middle Belt. The willing tools, that's how they describe the Middle Belt. That's where you find the Gowons and the Danjumas of this world. That's where they fit in. They are the ones to be sent to beat down the other people. And then in the South, they describe the South as the conquered territory. That means the slaves. And so, if you consider the fact that all the roles assigned to everybody in this script are still tied to those people, everybody is still tied to the roles assigned to them in this script. That's why somebody like was the body bag governor in Kaduna, El Rufai. You remember that El Rufai told us boldly that we cannot expect to be equal partners in this union, that we have been conquered, and therefore we just have to take whatever they give to us. In the period they were asking him about the killings going on in his territory, where he was going about to 14 different countries to pay money to Fulani who come to kill people inside Nigeria.
Okay.
As his response as governor.
Tony, see,
yes.
Thank you for this background information. It will take us tons of hours and a lot of talking to be able to put out this information. But for the purposes of this interview, you mentioned about people who think that others are conquered, people who think that rulership is their own birthright, and others are infidels, and so many of those. You have explained to us where we are coming from. Now let us try to zoom in on where we are right now. Nobody can feign ignorance of the fact that the East, the West, is now under siege. Let us talk about the Lower Niger Congress and what you believe in. What is the Lower Niger Congress all about? Because some people, I will come to that, but there's so much misconceptions out there. Some people say you are a saboteur. Some people say you are somebody working for the other side. Some people say you're confused. Some people say you're fighting other people who are fighting for the same cause. So there's a general confusion. Tell us what the Lower Niger Congress is all about, and vis-a-vis, what is your impression of what is happening in our land now? And then quickly after that, we will talk about what is the solution.
All right. Well, just to take it from how you introduced the question, those people who are peddling all those lies actually created those lies for the purpose of the franchise they set up. Our people are fed up with Nigeria, and somehow the resistance to get out of this trouble has acquired the general code name Biafra, which was how the 1967 and 70 to 1970 pushback happened. These criminals turn up, tap into the emotions of our people, and begin to extort money from them with absolutely no plan and no designs of what can bring our people out of that misery. On the other hand, the Lower Niger Congress, like I already told you, set out clearly to first create internal cohesion in the region, in the immediate region, that's the southeast and south, bearing in mind what Gowon, and he confessed recently, what Gowon had in mind and his other people on the 27th of May in 1967, when they cut out 2 states from the eastern region of the time, before, just ahead of 3 days before the declaration of Eastern Nigeria as a Republic of Biafra on the 30th of May. It was done to cut out, to lock the Igbo into being landlocked, and so that they could impose the air, land, and sea blockade to prevent them from, getting out of Nigeria they wanted to get out of at the time, on account of the genocide that was unleashed on them by people from the other side. And it is on account of the difficulties that we have all been living with since that time that the Lower Niger Congress decided to do away with all of Nigeria's mischief, to go to the nationalities in those places. And it took us 6 years to go from the Benin Kingdom to the Warri and the Shekaris and the Robos, all the Ijaw territories, down to Anang and Efik. It took us 6 years discussing with them, offering this proposition of what we could do to come out of this trouble together, because none of us going alone can get anywhere because of how the enemy had imposed the structures that divide us. And it was when we had a sufficient consensus that we came out with the Lower Niger Congress in 2009 in Warri, in a week-long ceremony. I'm sure you had in one video recently where Asari was talking about being part of the formation of Lower Niger Congress. I'm sure you saw that video.
Yeah,
you
go
understand?
ahead.
So, like I was telling you, the Lower Niger Congress is the aggregation of all the self-determinations in that flag. We went to every group that was talking about, self-determination in some way or the other, including the ones doing Biafra and the ones doing Niger Delta agitation. At the last count, the leadership of LNC has sat down with the leaders of 42 different Biafra organizations, including MASOB of Wazirike, and when he left, the MASOB that is there now, led by Uche Nnadi, including the IPOB. I had a 4-hour meeting with Nnamdi Kanu in my office in Lagos in 2013, just after he left Wazirike's MASOB. It was Wazirike that set up the radio in London. He was just somebody who had to man the studio in London for them until they fell out in 2012. And in going around to all these groups, it was to present a plan on the table of exactly what we needed to do to rescue our people from this bondage. And that plan was in 2 compartments. That plan was one in which the internal cohesion we needed to be able to band together as one group of people, but with the right to self-determination of each of the nationalities completely protected. And therefore, a charter of relationships that would define that, coming together, so that all the mischiefs that were thrown at us from this, the Biafra episode, which was basically, an unplanned incident, will be put away, and all the divisions that have been planted from afar will be buried for life. You remember that in 2005, 2015, it came to where those nationalities gathered in Port Harcourt in a solemn assembly to commit to they adopted that map you displayed, the map of 1885, which delineated everybody's territory and also mandated the distillation of that chart of relationships. That is how far we went in bringing everybody together. On the other hand, the movement for New Nigeria, that map you displayed, is the movement for New Nigeria is the outreach of the Lower Niger Congress, because by ourselves, we cannot take down the 1999 Constitution that is the instrument, the mechanism by which the enemy is holding us hostage. And therefore we say, who else is in this trouble? Who else who want to see the end of this bondage in his own place? And we saw the Yoruba. Abiola had won elections and he got killed. because he wasn't one of those who is Yoruba property if Nigeria is not in place today. But from independence to date, not one controller general of Yoruba origin, and Nigeria takes no less than 2 trillion naira every year from that port. And so many things, so many other things that we had to go to sit down with them. We went to a war. We went to Akure, we went to Ondo, we went to Ibadan. We went everywhere the Yoruba at home and abroad to show them what we had found out and what could be done. And that constitution by which this enemy, this common enemy, this monster is holding all of us hostage, we are in a position to take it down because that constitution has our signature as the authors of our damnation. So eventually, after many years of engagement, the Yoruba came forward and then we began to discuss. Again, in that same period, we had gone to the Middle Belt to show them what was happening to them, that they are being used and they are being dumped and now they are being killed. So between the three, the movement for New Nigeria is the alliance between the greater eastern region, that's the lower Niger, the Yoruba bloc, and the Middle Belt, to extricate themselves from the union of death, the union of attrition, as imposed on them by this caliphate that has embraced Sharia, which required them to kill the infidel, the rest of us, and the feudalism in which there's only the master and the servant. And these two civilizations are fused in them. So the green belt we see on display now is that Sharia territory. We remember that Gideon Oka in 1990, for these same reasons, wanted to excise them from the union, because you cannot submit yourself into a union in which one part of the country owes it a duty of faith to kill you, the infidel. You cannot submit yourself into a union in which people tell you to your face that you are inferior, they are the master and you are the slave. And so, because of the fact that they had also imposed a constitution that made these things permanent for them, we decided the three, that's the lower Niger, the Yoruba, and the Middle Belt, went into this alliance. There's the other map that shows the three working together to take down that constitution, the map that is in yellow and white. So that's the kind of alliance we have now to take down that constitution. So Movement for New Nigeria is actually one in which we are saying, if we cannot go back to a union of equality, if we cannot go back to the regional autonomy that was the basis of becoming one union into independence in 1960, then we might as well dismantle the union, because it is remaining in the union that they are now bringing people from all the places we see, from all over Africa. They say all the Fulanis of Africa. We saw the governor in Bauchi coming out to say that all the Fulanis from anywhere in Africa belong to Nigeria. We saw Buhari throwing the borders open for them to come from everywhere, and we have seen what they are doing when they come. We've seen Boko Haram, how they came in 2014. We've seen how ISIS, how they joined forces with ISIS in 2014, exchanging flag to become ISWAP. And we saw how they charged Jonathan out of power because Jonathan came from the wrong part of the country. And all of us are saying to them today that if we cannot be in a union of equal partnership, then we must disband the union. We must disband the union. So those who are saying that anybody is working for anybody, I want their answers to the meetings we had with them so that we can get it in perspective. The meetings I said we had with each and every one of the leaderships, including the one of Nnadi and his IPOB in 2013, we had 8 points on the table, 8-point strategy to say, if you say you want self-determination, you want independence, how do you want to get it? Is it by waving flag and making noise all over the place? Here is what the LNC and its MN and alliance partners have distilled over a longer period to work together to take down the constitution and free everybody from the union of death. Those 8 points were the things discussed with each and every one of those organizations. The first one is the matter of definite map. There must be a map of where the territory you want independence for begins and where it ends. None of those organizations, including IPOB, none of those Biafra organizations has a map that can stand the test of scrutiny. If you went with the map of 1967, you have to explain to people in River State and Akwa Ibom State and Cross River State and Bayelsa State how they are part of that Biafra, because it was on the 27th of May in 1967 that they were carved out by right or wrong, by Gowon, by decree from Eastern region. So they will tell you that their territory, the present, the river state and the southeastern state of the time that is now Akwa Ibom and Cross River, of course the rivers has become rivers and Bayelsa, they will tell you that all of them were not a part of the eastern region that became Biafra on the 30th of May. As mischievous as you may think it is, it will be a factual claim. And everywhere you go, if they say they don't know what they are talking about, that's the end of the discussion. Not to talk about Asaba and Abo and all the Igbo territories, that's almost half of Delta State of today. They were never in Eastern region, they were in Midwestern region. And therefore, if you continue to carry on as if there's that has to happen, involvement and their consent, then you are the ones looking for, and you can see the kind of disclaimers that have been coming from that's the matter of map. If you go to the UN or anybody who wants to help you, the first thing they're going to ask you is the map. The map we have seen from this, particularly the IPOB, the map they put forward includes territories that go as far as Central African Republic on one side and Angola on the other side. They say there's a Biafra that was there long before Nigeria was born. Is that what you're going to take to the UN today? If you go back to 1967 map, have you talked to the Jo? Have you talked to the Anang? Have you talked to the Ogoni? Have you talked to the Efik? Have you talked to all the other people that were in that eastern region of the time? If you haven't, and you sit in London and make broadcasts declaring them the Biafra, and look at the people making that declaration. There's an Igbo supreme leader. There's an Igbo deputy supreme leader. All of those who are managing the affairs of that IPOB are Igbo. How do you expect the other people, looking back at what happened in the first episode in Biafra, where they were told that the Igbo jumped into their territory to swallow them? You are justifying that false claim in the thing you are doing. So we tried to tell them that you must have a definite map so you don't create controversy. You must have some discussion. It must be something all of you have decided to go and do together, which was why LNC invested so much energy in going to seek them out. And they came out embracing it wholeheartedly, which anybody who clicks on YouTube now, Solemn Assembly of the Peoples of the Lower Niger, will see who and who came out to embrace that suggestion and the charter of relationship that will come from it. Again, that's 2 items out of the 8. The third one is the constitution by which this territory, let me in fact give you the answers that were given to me in some of those meetings. Nnadi Kanu told me that everybody knows where Biafra is. That was his answer to matter of definite map. Nnadi Kanu told me that the Niger Delta nationalities, the so-called Eastern minorities, that they don't understand what we are talking about, that when they begin to do Biafra, they will come along. That was his answer to me. Then the matter of the constitution by which the enemy is holding us hostage. He said, you are still discussing the matter of Nigeria's constitution. It is Biafra we are doing. That was his answer to the need to take down that constitution so that the union can be wound up for new protocols to emerge. Then we go to the matter of the alliance of 1967, in which the caliphate was able to come to bring the Yoruba and the Middle Belt and some elements in the Niger Delta to work with them. Eastern Nigeria was isolated, surrounded 360 degrees, shut down from air, from land, from sea. And so you saw how it ended. And we said, instead of being isolated one more time, in this alliance, the MNN alliance is to overtake the alliance of 1967. So today, in that other map you showed, we now are standing in that attempt to escape from this prison called Nigeria, together, hand to hand, with the Yoruba and the Middle Belt, and of course the whole of Niger Delta that already came into the Lower Niger paradigm. So in that formation, we have a chance, we have a better chance to take down that constitution. And we went again to the matter of the process by which this independence can be consummated. He was telling me, that of course in the one of the alliance we had to create with other people, he said that the Yoruba are unreliable and you can't do anything with them. They will play pranks, and you can see that their brokers are still insulting those people. Yes, things were done wrong in the past, but today we're in that trouble. We need to get out of that trouble. We said, let's leave the past. Even in the eastern region, we saw all of the bad blood that have been in the place. Let's leave all those things and go to what we can do now to extricate ourselves. We can work out all the other things when the enemy that's upon us for the purpose of exterminating us have been taken care of. You see, that's the number 4. Number 5. The other one is, by what mechanism can this thing land? He says to me that it's by conquer and occupy. Whereas we had a plan that will terminate in referendum. We had a plan that will terminate in referendum, for which reason we went to the UN some years back to show them informally, to discuss with the diplomats what we were putting together. And guided by the instruments, the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples and all the other instruments. I'm a lawyer with a specialty in jurisprudence. So when I sit you down to tell you this is what is wrong with the Constitution, this is what we can do to take it down so that we can free ourselves from the shackles of it. You said to me there's nothing you want to hear about the Constitution, that we're still discussing Nigeria. And then we went to the international imperatives. The owners of Shell and Mobil and Chevron, their investments are in that territory. Is it this kind of nonsense we are doing? We're seeing that they're going to be, who are they going to be discussing with? So we went and we had our discussions with them to tell them what will happen from the time things, change. That will not, because if you don't take care of that, they're going to stand where they were before in the engagement that we saw in 67 and to 70. So in that order, all the way to the matter of transition, there is a governance order. There's a constitution that is disputed. We went to court in 2007. I'm sure you remember Pronaco. Pronaco was the first time we called a meeting of all, so that nobody will say it's left out. We called a meeting of the owners of Nigeria, the indigenous nationalities. And for 2 years, we were discussing, Ijo came as Ijo, Ogoni came as Ogoni, Yoruba came as Yoruba, Fulani came as Fulani. Buhari was one of those who came from the Fulani delegation. He was part of the Fulani delegation. Sayad, the one that is Sultan in Sokoto today, was part of the Fulani delegation. Go and ask them, they're still alive, whether they attended the Pronaco, and whether we did not reach common ground. All of us, we said, let us leave what the British did in the past. Let us work out what can work today. We arrived at a draft constitution. I was secretary of the committee that drafted that constitution that came from 2 years of discussion. The US sent us a mission, European Union sent us a mission. And it was after we had done all of that they now went and started intensifying their Sharia. They had passed Sharia simultaneously. 12 states in that map you showed. The 12 contiguous states of the Far North passed Sharia simultaneously in year 2000. And they began to enforce. Their state assemblies passed it, their governors endorsed it, and set up Hizbah and started chopping up people's hands and dislodging our people from their spaces. And so we said, if we cannot all hold life sacrosanct, if we cannot all agree that all men are born equal, then this union is at an end. There's nothing else to discuss. The matter of marginalization, they already took all the assets. The oil and gas assets of the Niger Delta was taken by the instrumentality of that constitution, by decree. Gowon signed off on all of them. The ports of Lagos is supposed to be Yoruba asset. The ports of Port Harcourt was property of Eastern region in the days of Emma Okpara. Today it's now in Abuja. 68 items are on the exclusive list. How did we come about it? Today I cannot generate electricity to power Aba, to power Onitsha, to power Nnewi. The Oji River that we built was shut down. I cannot generate electricity except I go and prostrate in Katsina. Who says who? If Nigeria has become the reason why we have to die, then we will put that Nigeria to death. That's what we are saying. That's what the LNC is saying. That's what the MNN Alliance is saying. You saw the Yoruba go out the other day to tell the whole world that they are fed up in the union. In 2017, you saw when they gathered in Ibadan, in their own solemn assembly, because as far back as 2011, after the Pronaco of 2006, that began in 2005, we went to court in 2007 to say to the whole world, to say to the people in Abuja that, look, we have a problem. We have found a solution to that problem after many years of waiting for government. Can we come together and do it the way South Africa did to do away with apartheid in 1990 that went up to 94? Somehow they just refused and kept intensifying their push to get into power so that they can sit on their high horse and shoot down everybody else. As they were doing that, forming Boko Haram, bringing ISIS to help themselves, and all of the brigandage that led to 2015. They have got the power. And you saw that immediately they got to power, the next thing was to unleash ethnic cleansing, by which they were going to take out the other nationalities and bring the Fulani from everywhere to replace them. You see what has happened in the Middle Belt already. In that whole period, we also went to whisper to the Americans who were fighting with ISIS in Middle East to say, look, the ISIS you are chasing in the Middle East is already relocating to the West African sub-region. If you look at 2014, when they exchanged flag with Boko Haram, it was because they now wanted a sovereign space to launch their global campaign. That global Islamic Caliphate is now being headquartered in West Africa. Except you come now to arrest the situation with us, America will pay in blood. The US took almost a whole year to interrogate what we were saying, and they found it was true. That was how Nigeria landed on the watch list of December. The UN came in August to talk about the constitutional arrangement as pressure cooker for injustice. What was the UN talking about? It is the constitution of Nigeria that sees the oil and gas assets of the Niger Delta. If that constitution does not go down, Niger Delta is doomed with their situation. It is that constitution of Nigeria that makes it impossible for the people of Middle Belt to defend themselves from marauders they can see, Fulani coming from everywhere to kill them and take their lands. Unless that constitution goes down, the Middle Belt is doomed. It is that constitution that took the port assets and all the taxes that are collected from Lagos to be shared in Abuja, and Lagos going like beggar along with other people. So we say to everybody that this is the imposition that cannot stand, especially because our signature was put. You see the preamble to the Constitution that says, we the people having solemnly resolved to live. We the people there means we the Ijo, we the Ogoni, we the Fulani, we the Doma, we the Yoruba, having discussed and agreed amongst ourselves to be in one union. That's one part. The other part now says, do hereby make and give unto ourselves the following constitution. You can see where the whole thing is coming from. That there are two things that must be done. What can we do to dismantle that constitution? That is how the MNN Alliance, that's where the MNN Alliance comes in, as the undertaker platform to take out that constitution.
Okay, Tony.
The NNC, yes.
Sorry, I think by now we understand. We can grasp what you are describing as the objective of the Lower Niger Congress. Now, let me try to put something in perspective. On one hand, we hear you talk about the Lower Niger Congress, which is just focused on people of the Lower Niger, and on the other hand, we hear you talk about the movement for a new Nigeria, and then you also talked about how you have met and you have discussed with people like Buhari, and that they were in a meeting sometime.
There was pro-NACO. It's not
I mean
Buhari.
I'm trying to.
There was pro-NACO.
Now. There was pro-NACO.
164 ethnic nationalities.
I know. There
met
was
for 2 years.
There was pro-NACO then. What you're trying to say is
they
that
came.
when you guys,
delegations. Buhari was part of the Fulani delegation. Sayed was.
So what you're saying is that after you sat down in pro-NACO and agreed on a lot of things, they went ahead and they did not follow what you guys had agreed upon. So
just like Aguri.
LNC said, okay, if you guys are not abiding by what we had agreed, then the best thing is for everybody to go back to status quo and just abandon this agreement. Now, my question to you is, you are still talking about a new Nigeria where everybody wants to try again. Are you confident? Is that what you're saying?
No. You weren't listening to me.
Okay.
That movement, you remember Awolowo described Nigeria as a mere geographical expression.
Mm-hmm.
Ahmadu Bello called Nigeria the mistake of 1914.
Mm-hmm.
The mistake of 1914 has not matured beyond the mere geographical expression it had always been.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, when you say movement for new Nigeria, it means two things together. Either we have a Nigeria as we discussed in Lancaster House, or we have no Nigeria. So it can also mean movement for no Nigeria, which was why we brought a process into it. We have listed all the things that must be in place before we continue as a union. And in targeting that constitution so very totally, you remember we went after the constitution in a manner that takes it down. We're not talking about amendment because our sovereignty is not with the National Assembly. Our sovereignty remains with us. And only we, in exercise of our sovereignty, can make a constitution. Go to section 14(2)(a) of the constitution. They also admitted it. What we're saying is that that movement for new Nigeria is actually, it will be by referendum that people will have to recommit from what will happen to the constitution going down. The constitution going down is end of union. People will go to referendum to recommit to being in any union. And we're not talking about politics, we're talking about general referendum. And that movement for new Nigeria actually became movement for no Nigeria from the point the people who came to Pronaco pulled back from the consensus we reached, just like they did with Aburi. It wasn't a casual gathering. They pulled back and started their brigandage by which they got to power.
So they cannot be trusted. So what you're saying is that they betrayed you again. So if they have betrayed again, and okay, so now you made a statement. You said it is not really a movement for new Nigeria, but a movement for no Nigeria. And let me take you back to what I have heard.
That's what they have. We had a chance to agree and have a union. Everybody else was saying, "Oh, these people will not agree with you." I was the one that put myself in the middle to say, "Let's give it one last try." And by the time we finished in 2006, we went to court to put it in a process that will give them an opportunity, to do whatever they could do.
In a short while, we are going to open our telephone line so that people will get an opportunity to call in and ask one or two questions, if there are, and I'm sure there's a lot of questions that you want to ask. So please bear with us. We'll give you a chance to ask one or two questions, and I would please employ anybody who is going to be asking any questions to make sure that they are very, very, if you're asking any question, to make sure that you are very civil and that you are very respectful. So that's what I'm going to employ anybody who wants to ask us any question. Okay, so please just stand by. We're going to bring back our guest today, and remember also that what we're trying to do is it's important that we start talking, because we are all suffering this thing together. While we are still talking, our land is already under siege, and I know a lot of you are like, Chidi, all this talk, our land is already under being invaded. So what are you doing about it? So we are going to be looking at the way forward. And one thing I honestly believe is a very good way forward is that we begin to think, we begin to talk and reason and see how are we going to make sure that all our plans, all our ideas, whatever we are proposing, how do we make sure that these things are properly put in place so that it works in our favor, not working against us. We cannot allow it to work against us. It should work in our favor, not work against us. So that is what I really want us to be doing. We're going to be bringing a lot of other people to our program to talk, air their views. Honestly, I am of the opinion that as many people as are agitating for freedom, agitating for people to have their right to exist in their homeland without fear, all of those people, I want to hear them out. So that is what we are doing. Not everybody, just to warn you, not everybody is going to like everybody that we bring on our show. I don't expect you to like everybody. If you like everybody, then there's something wrong. Some people are going to rub you the wrong way. Some people are going to make you very mad. Some people are going to get you infuriated. But the important thing is that we are going to give a lot of people an opportunity to air their views, just like we will give you two, that is our listener, an opportunity to also air your views. That is what we must begin to do, because that is how civilized people talk. If we do not, if we fail to plan, then we are planning to fail. Let me just tell you, people, everybody who is in this thing, if you do not plan well, then you will fail. If you fail to plan, then you are planning to fail. That is something I want you to take very, very seriously. So, Tony, the calls are already
Yes.
beginning to pour in. I know there's going to be an avalanche of calls. Bottom
Yes.
line is our land is under invasion right now.
Yes.
Whether
Yes.
anybody's own agenda or approach or whatever, working, not working, it's already too late. We have seen shiploads, trailer loads of these people. They've infiltrated our land. What do you think
Yes.
is the way forward? Because this siege is upon us right now. Like today, what is the way forward? Just hold on your calls, guys. Five
Yes.
minutes and we'll open
Right.
the phone.
Yes. I saw a bit of the clips you were playing. I'm sure you've heard about constitutional force majeure that the LNC have been talking about. If not for the lockdown, if not for the COVID-19 lockdown, that action would have been, executed, and the Union of Nigeria that permits the Fulani to come into everybody's backyard would have been in dispute at a level that admits third parties, the international community. What we have to do now, and people can argue that like they have been arguing with us all the while, Washington took a whole year to examine what needs to be done. I'm sure you know that the man whose video, the video you just played, was the first nominee of Donald Trump for National Security Advisor. I'm sure you also know that he was a Assistant Secretary for Defense in Reagan administration. So it's not a casual person to be discussing that matter in the manner you saw in that video. And so what we need to do, like yesterday, is to declare a union dispute. The South, the Middle Belt, and the Yoruba are in a position today to come forward and say that this union is at an end. It was by proclamation that Nigeria was put into being in 1914. We can, by our own proclamation, standing on our sovereignty that have been suppressed by the suzerainty called Nigeria, and declare. And that is what that force majeure is all about. The Constitution is a social contract. If anything happens that renders the contract, impossible to perform, our union, the murderous actions of the Fulani has brought our union to where that social contract has to be dispensed with. If we do not do that, if we do not call the union to an order, call the union to an end, Fulani army, Fulani police, Fulani DSS, Fulani federal government will continue to have legitimate presence in Port Harcourt, in Lagos, in Makurdi, in Jos, everywhere.
But Tony, this
Yes.
COVID-19, we don't know when it is going to end. As we are talking, these people are moving. So who is going to make this declaration? They are raping women in our village. What should we do?
I only refer to it to tell you that something should have happened, which it came to disrupt. But now, with the easing of movement in some way, you could see it was because there was a federal government controlled by the Fulani, that the trucks and trucks and trucks of Fulani people and whoever else they were carrying will pass through all the roadblocks while the rest of us were in lockdown to get to our spaces. If we do not raise, we're in a position to raise what we call a union dispute, so that we can activate our right to self-defense on a scale that makes it impossible for them to criminalize and shoot aside whoever has gone.
Okay, Tony,
Right
let us.
now, it's only by gun. It's only by gun. It's only by gun that people can defend themselves. But when they see you with gun, they can fire at you in the name of Nigeria. We must tell the international community that there's no Nigerian union in place as of today, because that constitution that empowered them to come to our spaces have been repudiated by each of these three blocks. What we have done is enough to stand upon and draw a line so that third parties can come to the arena.
Okay,
Third
okay,
parties
Tony.
get to the arena as of today. But if we have not called that union to an end, if we are still there waving flag and abusing people all over the place, some planning to go to election in 2023 and all kinds of nonsense, these people are going to continue as Nigeria in your space, as federal government in your place, as police in your space. That's what has to be done.
Okay, Tony.
Everything to make
Let
it
us
is already in place.
let
The
us
only
let,
thing
let
the
us
only
take
thing
let us
standing
take
between us.
let us take
Yes.
some calls. Let us take some calls.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
that
Yes.
because these people
Let
they've been
me
here.
let me say one last thing before because once the calls begin to come, we don't know the direction it will go.
Okay.
All of those people who have been going around saying they went to European Union or UN, or there is no single American official that is in any form of discussion within Nnamdi Kanu and his IPOB. That I can report to you. Neither is there any diplomat at the UN that is discussing with them. Everything you see is Photoshop, and I'm reporting it to you as something I know from the people whose names are being flaunted all over the place as the institutions that were met. They are the
Tony,
ones calling us because we are the ones in discussion with them. They are the ones calling us to say, why can't you people tell these people to stop this nonsense they're doing on your behalf?
Okay, Tony.
Stupid
You
over the
know,
world.
Tony, just like the same way I have said that when people come on our show, what I really want us to, I want us to focus a lot on the Lower Niger Congress and how you think we can rescue our land. Okay, so
The reason I touched on this is that the same set of people making those false claims were the ones who told our people who were working for the enemy that the enemy set us up to prevent them from getting Biafra. We told them in confidence why that name Biafra cannot be put on in the campaign at this time. Because once you use the name Biafra, you can't put a map to it anymore. The same people went about telling, you can see the kind of disclaimers that are coming from those places. You can see the kind of reticence, the kind of not wanting to have anything to do with this madness coming from all the kind of places we need
okay,
alliances and
okay, Tony.
all kinds of things.
Let me do this. Let us respectfully take some calls so that we can give other people a chance to air their views. Sorry, I know you've been calling and calling. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Okay, Dr. Chidi, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Yeah, thank you very much. Please, I want to comment Tony Nnadi. I want to really commend you for the courage he has to come forward for this very day.
You didn't tell us your name, sir, and where you're calling from.
Sorry, my name is Benga Solomon from London.
Okay.
Solomon.
Okay.
Yeah. I really want to commend Tony, as I said, for that courage of having this fact and bringing it before the entire world.
Okay.
After that, I want to encourage him that he should please work further with Kano. Tony know the intricacies of going it alone, not having enough force, and there is huge benefit. Even the foot soldier in any war matters a lot. So it is better we are many than going as a minority. So I still want Tony to persuade Kanu the more. He needs a lot of job to do because Kanu is really angered, and every reasonable person can understand. Kanu is angered because of what he has learned and what he has seen with his own eye. That is why Kanu is angered. So Tony needs to play more maturity of persuading Kanu and trying him the more. So that is number one. And secondly, can Tony do us a favor by exposing the document at his disposal? That is the alliance between the British and the Sharia North. He should let this document be in the public space.
All right.
It will be a big shame.
All right.
It will be a big shame to the British. That is my contribution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So, Tony, in a nutshell,
Yes.
he is saying
Yes.
you should work with Nnamdi Kanu. Let me take another question before you start talking, please. Because he's
Why don't
more
we
of a
just take this?
contribution than a question. Okay, please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Let me quickly take this. Let me quickly take that so that because many more people are going to be calling along that line, I can assure you.
Hold on, Tony.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
Go ahead. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Am I on the line?
Yes, you're on the line. 1 minute. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Chima. I'm calling from Texas.
Okay.
Please, what I wanted to ask Tony is, I listened carefully his pronunciation, and I see reason in what he's talking about. The whole idea here is what will get us out of the bondage we're in. Now, and again, I don't think that it is good for us to come out in the open to earn our learnings. My simple question is, Tony, what can we do to bring a synergy between all the agitating factors, including IPOB, without each and every one, of course, insulting ourselves in the public? I think you are genuine and you are working hard. I appreciate what you're doing, but how can we work together? We cannot save ourselves if we are fighting ourselves at the same time. So that's what my question to you.
Thank you so much. Now, Tony, you can go ahead and attend to that.
Yes, let me first say that the documents, those documents we got from the archives, in fact, we had to get it WikiLeaks style. Our fathers didn't know about them. Enohoro, that went with them to negotiate independence, was surprised when he saw those documents. And he spent the last 7 years of his life, trying to help us wriggle out of what we are in. That's on the side of those documents. They will be in public view in the coming days so that people can see that people actually decided to lock us into this union of death.
Where are you going to publish the documents? Will you circulate it so that we too can publish it, or will you publish it on your own domain?
No, of course. It will be in the widest public domain.
Okay.
That's on the side of the document. Then to the question of the need to work together. Like I told you at the beginning, all of those who are genuine in this campaign, both the ones doing agitation and all kinds of other ways they've approached the matter, whether they're in Yoruba land, OPC and others, whether they're in Niger land, Asari, and all the other people from Niger Delta Volunteer Force, to MEND, down to Avengers, down to the political actors. They had all embraced this plan. The mass-up, the human beings you saw on the streets in 2015, at the time Nnamdi was arrested, were foot soldiers of mass-up. But that mass-up had since embraced what LNC is doing, led by the mass-up that is led by Uche Namado today, not Uwazurike that left some time before. Uwazurike has moved on from mass-up. That mass-up already embraced the propositions of the LNC. All the other groups have embraced it. It's only Nnamdi that had the privilege, like a few of, like many of them too. It's just that he is a dishonest individual that never keeps any agreement. I'm reporting what transpired between me and him.
Tony, that's a very high-handed.
Not what anybody told me. I remember I told you that he himself narrated the story on the 28th of February inside Kuje prison. You remember the day Soludo Utomi and the other people went to visit him in Kuje prison. He narrated this story of how he sat with me for 4 hours. He narrated the story of what exactly I've told you now that he did not agree with at the time. He said he didn't understand what I was saying at that time, but now he realizes that it is by referendum that the matter can be resolved. Therefore, he will come along. In 48 hours from that commitment, he reversed his position.
So, even Tony, are you going to work with Nnadi Kanu now? That's how do we start working together?
It is impossible to work. It is impossible if you have somebody who is crooked. I've spent 6 years. We have endured. The only chance we have to fail, the only chance we have to fail in this project is because of what Nnadi Kanu and his band is doing. Every other thing has been overtaken. We are ahead. We have nothing else as obstacle on our way to success, other than the criminality that is coming from that flank. Remember, he went away in 2013 doing the opposite of what we need. The damage he's doing is one in which the alliance with Niger Delta is in jeopardy. You can hear them disowning him. The alliance with Yoruba is in jeopardy. The alliance with Middle Belt is in jeopardy.
Okay, hold on, Tony.
Listen, let me. These are facts. If those who are listening do not know that
hold on. Let Tony finish his thing. Tony, please. I want us to really focus on the way forward.
Yes, we can. As I'm talking with you, imagine you have a keg of gunpowder, and somebody who is on that side, on the same side of the wall with you, brings water and pours into that keg of gunpowder. You are holding him, he goes and brings another water, he pours it into the same. Which gunpowder are you going to use? As I speak with you, the Niger Delta nationalities that are supposed to be banding together with us are coming out forcefully to disown him and what he's doing. People who have accepted the lower Niger paradigm. As I speak with you, the Yoruba don't want to have anything to do with us if it's in Nnamdi Kanu and the type of Biafra he's talking about. The Middle Belt. As I speak with you, Washington is embarrassed for all of us that we allow somebody to go claiming that he's in discussion with people who are also watching those things. The people they claim they're meeting are also watching those things. And they call us to say, what kind of madness have you allowed in your space?
Okay.
For 6 years, let's hear. I did everything. We have endured everything we can endure. Nnamdi Kanu is incorrigible. He's never going to change. And I've come to the point where I say, on no account will he be allowed to come near what we are doing. On no account will he be allowed. Our people have to choose between what they want and the sentiment. You say you want Biafra. You are in a prison compound with all the other people. You don't have a plan of your own how you can jump out of that compound. You have an organization that puts a plan on the table that can bring down the prison wall. You use everything you have, the radio, the internet, everything, to go to sabotage that plan. Every alliance we need is suffering because of what it's doing, just to make money, just to make fame.
Okay, Tony, remember, this is where I'll be unfair. I'm not going to provide a platform for you to try to settle your quarrel with Nnamdi Kanu. Let me tell you, Tony, it is best to do that when I have... No, Tony, it's my interview. Tony, hold on, Tony, you are my guest. Tony, you are my guest. Give me 1 second, Tony. They can't hear you. You are my guest, so hold on. See, we only engage in that kind of talk if I have you on one side and I have Nnamdi Kanu on the other screen. That's when we can talk like that. Right now, I invited you to be able to talk about the Lower Niger Congress and what plans you have. And the question was how you can work with Nnamdi Kanu. And when you say there is no possible way of working with Nnamdi Kanu, you have decided you cannot work with him. It is very, very unfortunate. But let us take another caller. It would have been better if even you, that is proposing a way forward, would come and be talking about a way forward. If we're saying there is no way forward, then why are we having this discussion in the first place?
The process will proceed.
Okay, hold on. We kept somebody on hold. Please go ahead and talk.
Yeah, thank you very much for the audience. I'm calling from Australia. I have a question
What's
for
your name, please?
Tony
What's your
Nnadi.
name?
I'm Jeffrey from calling from Australia.
Okay, go ahead.
Please, I know Tony Nnadi is just a confusionist. He's bringing a lot of confusion. But my question to him is, I don't want to throw talk on him, but in clear terms, like ABCD, in clear terms, how does he think he can bring down the constitution? In clear terms, because someone asked him this question some time ago, and he was dangling with it.
Okay, so the question is, how does he want to bring down the constitution? Gentlemen, let us be very, very specific. All right, Tony, please go ahead.
In clear terms.
Okay, hold on now. Let him answer the question. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Tony, how would you bring down the constitution?
The majority, the whole of the South, the whole of the Middle Belt, whose signature give life to that constitution, have in the last 20 years been assembled on one side to disown that constitution in a manner that brings it down. You know, apartheid constitution had to come down after 80 years. That was what ended the misery of those in that situation. And we have done all of what needs to be done. We are now proceeding to the terminal stage, to the terminal action, which was already scheduled to happen within the first quarter of 2020. We advertised it all over the place. That's what the force majeure you've been hearing. The Lower Niger went out in a solemn assembly to repudiate that constitution on the 27th of April in 2015. The international community took note. That was the first time I had to address a congressional event, one of the videos I sent to you in Washington, D.C., because they saw something far deeper than what they were seeing before. On the 7th of September in 2017, the Yoruba gathered in Adamasigba Stadium in Ibadan with their governors and traditional rulers present to disown that constitution as basis of the union. On the 18th of July in 2018, the Middle Belt nationalities did the same. Between the three that have repudiated that constitution, they say it is no longer the basis of the union for us. We then moved on the December 11 in 2018 to declare that we will not tolerate any further national elections in our space because the winner would govern with that constitution that make us slaves in our lands.
But okay,
where we are now is that those three have already put in place what they will activate to put a time frame within which nobody can draw power from that constitution. I will not come on air to tell the enemy exactly how it will all play out. They are also, the people we are trying to dislodge are also sniffing around to know how it will happen. That's why some of the things you had Yakasai talking about the need for that constitution to be taken down. All kinds of things are already going on.
All right.
So I won't come to tell him how it will happen, but I can assure him that all of those who now have come out to say that constitution cannot remain the basis of the union at the level of solemn assembly in these three blocks are able to put a time frame for when nobody can hang on that document to say he's doing a union.
All right, thank you.
That's how far I will go.
The next caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling from, quickly.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Cordelia Emina, and I'm calling from London.
Okay, Cordelia.
Yeah. Tony Nnadi, I'm happy to hear all you have said. He's talking, he will not hear what I'm saying. I'm happy you have done so much. I've heard all you said. You've come so, you've come so long. I'm an old woman of over 70 thereabouts, and I've really lived my own part of my life. It will not be so much. But I have children, I have grandchildren, I have relations, even though I'm here in London and my children. But now, Tony, please, you are older. The way I see it, you are older than Nnadi Kanu. You are older.
We have less than 1 year between us. We have less than 1 year between us.
Because we are dying, we are finished. Both of you should come together. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. He can hear you.
The because both of you should come together. I'm from Agbo. I'm not from Igbo. Because all of you should come together because come together and bail us out. A house that is divided cannot stand. A house that is divided cannot stand. One person cannot do it alone. Nnadi Kanu has got a large follower. I can see it. And I know you too, you have got a large follower. Please, all of you should come together. Come together. You are older than Nnadi Kanu. You are older. Come, draw him closer as a junior brother. Hello?
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Oga Tony, what do you have to say to that?
The simple answer is this. The simple answer is this. First, there's less than 1 year, so that people don't put it all out of context. There's less than 1 year in terms of age between myself and Nnamdi. So let nobody think he's a child that doesn't know what adults are discussing. He came to the project clear-mindedly to make profit. He does not care who gets killed and who gets injured.
Once more, Tony, you're digressing. No. So, Tony, Tony, let's keep this.
The answer is this. Just give me 1 second. The answer is this.
Yeah.
There are 8 points. There are 8 points on the table. 8 points of that strategy. That was what I discussed with him in 2013, which he rejected, including referendum. He said anybody who talks about referendum, they will kill the person because Nigeria will rig referendum. I told him we had gone to the UN, that the referendum will be a UN-backed referendum mandated by the Security Council itself. I showed him what we had done up to that point. Yet he said, no talk of referendum. It was in 2017, after they have fallen into the pit of treason. And by the way, I know that many people do not know that I was in the legal team that dismantled the treason trial. You remember the court order for unconditional release. I did not talk to him. I flew to Abuja at my own cost, went straight to the legal team. By the grace of God, I've done 3 treason trials in Nigeria, the one of Asari Dokubo, the one of Owazurike, and the one of Henry Oka. So when the one of Nnamdi arose, despite all the damages he had done up to that time, I did not talk to him. I went to Abuja, and we got out a court order for the unconditional release of Nnamdi. He did not believe that I was the one who came to do that. Anybody who gets a certified true copy of that court order will find my name on that court order. The young man that came later to, when they refused to release him, again, didn't even meet me in the case. He wasn't. We already had got that order. It was because Buhari did not release him that it now became matter for media later in the day. From that 2015 to 2017, we still, kept reaching out to people who were working with him. Those who began to tell him that there's no road in the forest he was dragging them through, he threw them out of the organization, accusing them of all kinds of things. People like Clifford Iranya and all the other 11 people, the same people, the people who had some sense in that organization had all been expelled because he wanted to carry on with the criminality he set out to do. Therefore, it was in 2017 in Kuje that he accepted referendum as process for the first time. The mechanisms by which we can get to that referendum is this 20-year plan that I had shared with you of how we gather our own side and how we gather the other people to do specific things, of what we have to do in the international arena between Washington and New York. All those things have been done. The only setback we have now is this madness that is going on in the name of, will Biafra fall from the sky?
Now, Tony, I just put up a picture. Hold on, Tony. I put up a picture now. I don't know if you can see that picture. This was a picture of Nnamdi, I think.
This was inside courtroom. This was how the treason was defeated.
Is this the picture? Is this the time you were talking about? Is this the time you were talking about?
Yes, this was inside courtroom in the Federal High Court in Abuja. That's myself. That's Nnamdi in Federal High Court. He was surprised at the time we were at the date this meeting was taken. This picture was taken. We already had obtained that order for unconditional release, which Buhari refused to carry out, for which he arrested the judge and the wife, Justice Ademola. Since Ademola wanted Nnamdi to go home, not even bail. I'm talking about unconditional release.
Okay, Tony. So the point is this.
Let us go forward. Let us go forward. He again went back to doing things that were worse than the ones he did before.
Okay.
That multitude that people are talking about. Let me tell you the story of multitude. It was not that multitude that went to talk to the George Anang, the Efik, and all of them to come into the
Tony.
It was not that multitude.
Hold on,
that
please.
went
Whoever is on the
to
line,
convince our neighbors.
Okay.
It was not that multitude that went to Washington. When we come to where referendums will take place, and by the way, I'm sure you do not know, you may be surprised to hear, Lower Niger Congress was first on the streets long before IPOB was formed. But we told people, don't call it Biafra. He now went and used the radio to tell them that we were working for the enemy, and they seized the grassroots infrastructure that we already had, that it is Biafra they want, not the Nigeria he told them we were trying to build up.
Okay, so now, Tony, you know what I keep hearing?
What we were doing, he made out lies and sold to people who will never hear from my side.
Okay, so
I decided to enjoy it until it is too late for the enemy to do anything with the truth of the matter. Tony. And today we are at that point.
But okay, now, Tony, going forward, can we just move from, I see, everybody's boiling. Nnamdi Kanu, let me tell you the truth. Nnamdi Kanu has lost so many of his men. He has lost his father. He has lost his mother. I'm coming, Tony. One second, Tony. 1 second. Tony, you have to listen. That's the problem with you lawyers. Lawyers, now they hear people. Now they let people talk. Let me talk, sir. 1 second.
He wanted it so.
Can I talk?
Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. So, what we are saying, you heard that woman that was talking and crying. She was near tears. And this is the heart of so many people. From now on, let's stop going back to what has happened. Honestly, with due respect, sir. I'm not done, Tony, I'm not done. They can't hear you when you're talking and I'm talking. I'm not done. You need to let me finish. So, Tony, we need to move a little bit because this time will not be enough. It will be a very, very unfortunate thing for our listeners and those who are waiting to hear the way forward to come out of this meeting only hearing blames and blames and blames. It doesn't tell us how to attack the guy who is raping our mothers right now as we talk all over the West. So please, let us move our question. And this is for those who are calling. If you're calling, I need you to be asking questions about what to do right now. There's somebody on the line. I hope you're still on the line. Please, if you are, tell us your name and where you're calling from, sir.
My name is Franklin, and I am calling from the United States of America.
Go ahead, Franklin.
I do have a problem with the way Tony is approaching the situation. Tony, you said you tried to work with Nnamdi Kanu 6 years. You've tried to work with him 6 years. You're still angry about the past. We are talking about moving forward, how we can come to a round table. This is why Kanu says there's a problem with black people, with blacks. How can we have a problem in front of us and we are using anger to look for a solution? No, that is not civilized. That is not civilized. You should read more books on leadership. If you are going to lead people with your approach, the way you're presenting yourself.
So
publicly,
what's your question or contribution, my brother? I'm just trying. You are also going personal too.
To make it short, my question is why can't you, Tony, relax your pride, your ego, and use this your intellect, because I respect you. I respect you as an intellectual person, somebody who has intellectual ability. You have done good works. Why can't you work with Nnamdi Kanu? It won't be a failure if you work with Kanu. It will be more. It will add more strength to our struggle. But with the way you are going, there is no way forward for us. That means even after we achieve the Biafra, we are still going to have more problems. So this is not the time for us. And my question now is, why can't you? Look at the last caller. The woman was pleading. A woman. If a woman have called and pleaded with you to work with Kano and you are still behaving this way, then we have a big problem in front of us.
All right,
so
thank you.
Why can't you?
Thank you so much. Let's allow Tony. Let's allow Tony. Tony, please.
Yes.
The thing is just like I was saying, and let us use data also. You see, the number of people calling and what they are saying. Oh my goodness. I have lost Tony again. Oh goodness me. I'm hoping I'm gonna go back and try to connect with Tony again, guys. Tony's still on the call, so I'm gonna go back to try to bring Tony in. So please, it is the way forward, my people. What is the way forward? Yesterday there was an attack. I can't show the video now, but they went somewhere. I think it's in Lagos or somewhere in the west. And these people came in and they attacked and they really, really injured people. What is the way forward? That's my own. What is the way forward? We cannot just keep arguing and talking and reminding people of what this person did and what that person did. My own is, what is the way forward? If we cannot talk about the way forward, then we are just not going anywhere. We are just going round and round in circles. So I really, really hope that we'll be able to talk about the way forward. Okay, sorry, you've been trying to get through. Sir, tell me your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Bright Ibope from US.
Go ahead, Bright.
Yeah, Tony, this is Bright, your friend. Sonny Bright's friend as well. So I watch you very well. You are close to me. We talk all the time, but we have not met. What I'm trying to say, like Chidi said, let us find a solution to solve the onus probandi. The onus probandi is clear and convincing in the rule of law that there is a problem in Nigeria and we have to unite to solve that problem instead of creating enmity each other. We can have problems, but we can resolve it as brothers and then solve the problem that is at stake. That's my decision. I have your number. I will talk to you because my son plays football, so he has surgery. That's why I haven't communicated with you. But I thank you for Chidi for making this forum possible.
Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. I truly, truly appreciate you. Incidentally, we lost Tony on his side, but I'm sure he will be able to answer this question as soon as he gets connected. But I really want to thank you for connecting. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for the long time it took for you to connect. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay, bye-bye.
Right.
Bye-bye, yeah.
Bye-bye.
Go ahead, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, my name is Ifeanyi. I'm calling from London.
Go ahead, Ifeanyi.
Yeah, I want to ask Tony Nnadi. He's been in this struggle for 20 years, fighting to destroy the Zoo Nigeria constitution, and he's still yapping. But he had made some serious allegations of Nnamdi Kanu that he's a criminal and all this thing. Can I ask him, where is he making these statements? Is he in Zoo Nigeria or London or America? I would like to know where he's making these statements. Because if he's true to his statement, let him come to America, UK, and call Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB members criminal, and we will see who is a true criminal. What this man is saying,
Hello?
He is working.
Okay. Oh my goodness. They cut you off. Sorry, because you're calling on WhatsApp, they cut you off. Hey, Mama Class, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Chidi.
Morning.
I'm fine. I'm calling from America. I'm calling from New
Okay.
from Oklahoma.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's Mama Class.
yeah, that's Mama Class for me. So you can go ahead and
Go ahead, Mama Class.
if you, if you want.
Hello, Mama Class. You can turn me down on the other device and then go ahead and speak.
Yeah, I just want you to please, because I can't understand what is going on. Because we've been suffering for long. We've been suffering for long. Dr. Chidi,
Yes, so
we Nigerians, we have been suffering for long. And we're not going to stand now at this stage. We don't want anybody to bring us down again or to tell us to all these our leaders again. If we really want to do anything, they must give us the solid foundation that they have already laid before coming on here. To say that we need those to do or we need this, we need that. It's not by mouth. It's not by class. It's not by national item. We've found so many national items in Nigeria. It doesn't really work for us. Now, if there's going to be anything
Hello.
okay, Tony is back. Mama Class, Mama Class, Mama Class,
Yes.
Mama Class, are you still there?
Don't worry. Don't
I'm
worry.
here.
Okay, you're there. Sorry, the thing cut you off before, but Tony was off. He is coming back now. Tony, I'm about to connect you.
Right.
Okay, so Tony is back. We have on the phone from US, Mama Class. Mama Class is a
No,
popular
no. Can
blog.
I? You asked me a question. You asked me. You asked me to respond to what the woman in London and the one from Australia just said, so that we
Okay.
can be on the same page as we go forward.
Before you, somebody is already on the line, so let her make her point, and then you can answer
Yeah.
everybody. So, Mama Class, please go ahead and round up so that Tony can take it from here.
Yes, please. Can you please help us ask Mr. Tony that what are the things that they are ready to put in place? Because we don't want a situation whereby anybody will call for maybe a or anything and they don't get anything ready to face it, and they will put our people's lives in danger. Because these people we are about to face, they're ready to kill. The killings in all these days, and they're still ready to kill. They are foreigners in our land. All these people are foreigners in our land. So we just really want them to let us know. We don't want any betrayal anymore. We fed up of this. We want a situation whereby our country will work for us. We fed up of being enslaved in our own land.
All right, thank you so much, Mama Class. Let Tony. So the question is, from the woman before, from Mama Class, from so many people, they want concrete plans of what to do right now. Let's forget about what somebody did before or didn't do. Today, Saturday, as we are talking, there are people in the bushes. They have arms, they have ammunition. So many trailers have carried these people down to the west. And we saw them coming in from Mali. We saw videos that people were just passing, crossing our border. Those people, they have disappeared. And they are now attacking people. So what are we going to do going forward from a very simplistic perspective, just to stop the next person from being killed in our land? Tony, go ahead.
Yeah. Nobody. If you fail to plan, you have planned to fail. In the last 20 years, we knew that this day will come. I'm sure you listened to Frank Gaffney. We knew that this day will come when we went to Washington to tell them what needed to be done for us. Washington had taken 3 steps already in trying to resolve our situation in the manner that it can be resolved. We are talking about gun here. Anybody who decides to go and gamble outside the framework of what can solve the problem in real terms is going to meet with the consequences of stupidity and foolishness, which the Bible already fixed. Say, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Our people think it is multitude that will go to let that multitude go now and face that fire. As I speak with you, those 8 points of what we have to do is the absolute minimum for getting forward with anybody. Anybody who does not have an answer for each and every one of those things will not be able to understand what needs to be done today. Will not be able to understand what needs to be done today, and he may think he's coming in to help the situation, whereas he's coming in to compound it. And so, the same fellow who is, as I speak with you, the damage, the things that are setting us back, in what we should do today are still ongoing. Those people who are saying it should all be put together, they have to go back to him. Can you believe that the very person that borrowed money to pay for the transmitters by which they are broadcasting from that London was the one they first accused of all kinds of things, because he told them that there was no road in the forest they were wondering about.
I'm getting frustrated. See me, I'm getting frustrated. See me, with all my intellect, with all my knowledge.
I'm telling you,
maybe it's because I'm wearing this tie. See, Oga Tony, we are dying. I don't get it. See, we are not making sense to the people. I'm sorry. I'm telling you, we're not making sense to the people. I don't want to know what's going on between you and the Nnadi. For God's sake, let's stop this thing now. If somebody stones transformer, no, Tony, no, I'm losing my patience with you. No, sir. No. Why are we doing this? How does this help the woman in the village? Tony, come on, man. Help me. Honestly.
You know I'm in the place. You know I'm inside that place where that thing is happening.
I know now. I understand.
The problem is ongoing. The reason we can't act is because of Nnadi and his falsehoods. He told our people that we are working for the enemy.
Okay, Tony, you know what I want to hear you. Okay, Tony, sorry, I'm cutting you. Okay, we are all boiling. You are in Nigeria. You are in the middle of this whole thing. I am outside Nigeria. With due respect, there are things I cannot tell you to do. You know that very well. Any reasonable person. I can talk, I can do everything. Nnadi can talk, he can do everything. He's outside. We know you're inside. But try to understand me. Try to understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, anytime you want to make a statement, you will still go back. See, me, I'm also tough like this.
The situation is ongoing. What is doing wrong? What is doing wrong is interfering with us at the construction site.
Okay, so why don't we? How do we talk? Because you are the one identifying this as your problem. I want to hear you say that.
I don't have any problem.
I'm going to make effort.
The process is going on. It does not require all these criminals that are hanging around it to make money. When we come to the matter of referendum, the multitude that will vote are the 60 million people in that territory. They do not require any middleman from any organization to come to mobilize them to vote to be free. All they are waiting for is, what day would they be voting? That's what they are waiting for. That multitude we don't need, the multitude we need are the ones who will vote. The LNC is in touch with them on ground.
Okay.
There's no noise
Tony,
around with them.
I have another caller. Sorry I kept you holding for so long.
You're the woman in London.
UK. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
The woman in London.
I'm calling from London.
Okay, Chama.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to ask Tony a question. I will speak in Igbo. Is it Tony? I want to ask question.
But please, if you can speak in English, because we don't have only Igbo people listening now. Please.
Okay.
Or you can ask in Igbo and explain it in English if speaking in Igbo makes you convey your message better. Go ahead. Yeah. Any language I can interpret, just go ahead, please.
Okay, can Tony hear me?
Tony, Tony can hear you very well.
Thank you. Because Tony, na okwu a ọ dara ebe a na-ekwu awụghọ okwu adị suppose ị na-ekwu na because na onye ọkụ na-agbabi ya adachi oke. Ọ sị na Nnamdi Kanu adịrọ mma. Nnamdi Kanu gere onye o zuru ohi ọ sị na o mere fraud, gere onye o mere fraud ya gwagodo anyị onye o mere fraud. Ofu onye nwere ike ikwu na Nnamdi Kanu mere fraud ka anyị mata.
O mere mụnwa fraud. O mere mụnwa fraud. O mere mụnwa fraud. O mere Clifford Iranya fraud.
Na Nnamdi Kanu adịghị mma.
You have asked your question.
Okay, I'm going to your question. Let me. Tony also has heard what you have said, but listen to me. I'm the umpire now. You are, madam, you are doing exactly what I don't want us to do. And also, I'm going to Nnamdi Kanu may fraud. Nnamdi Kanu is not here to answer for himself. That's why I want to entertain it now.
Muwa with the number one person.
Okay, Tony said, even Tony, you're a lawyer. You will say now that Nnamdi Kanu did you fraud. Exactly. So let us wait for the day that maybe you and Nnamdi Kanu. But for right now, madam, I like the first thing you said. You said that onye ọkụ na-agba na beer. So the interpretation for those that don't understand the Igbo, what my sister has said now is that the person whose house is on fire does not leave safeguarding his property to start chasing a rat that ran out of the fire. That will not make sense. So please, I heard what you said, madam. I'm going to take one more caller. I'm going to take one more caller, please. Hello. Tell us where you're calling from and your name, please. And turn us down.
Okay, let me turn you down. Yeah. Hello, I'm calling from London, Joy.
Hold on, Joy, hold on. I have someone on the line, please. Hello.
Hello.
Please, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Okay, my name is Ikechukwu. I'm calling from Canada.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, I understand what you're trying to do here, but at times when somebody has something in mind, I mean, you should give him the time so that he can say it out once and for all.
Okay.
Apart from what Tony is trying to say about Nnamdi Kanu, there's one thing I noticed about all this struggle about Biafra or something. The issue. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. There's some other people that I put on hold because I saw you.
Okay. So what I think we should do at this point is that in order to achieve what we want, I've heard other conversations outside of worship media, but I think this is what we preach. Hello?
No, madam, hold on. Ike, please finish so that madam can talk.
Okay. You mean to speak in English, right?
No, I said finish so that madam can talk and then Tony can respond. We are running out of time.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that Lower Niger, IPOP, or Masop and all those things, this is the time to come together. And I know, yes, Nnadi have built a multitude, right? But this is not the time about the multitude. This is the time for grassroots movement. You understand? We should come together now. Forget about if the IPOP is the issue. We forget about the name IPOP and look for a name so we can all come together and fight this as one. And I believe that in this struggle, there are people who have been struggling, who have been fighting for this struggle from different angles. This is now the time for us to come together, bring all those leaders in those different groups, come together and they form one group and we'll do an election and form one union all together, then we can go ahead.
Thank you.
Doing this, we will not get anywhere.
Thank you so much. Madam, please go ahead.
Yeah, hello, Mr. Tony Nnadi. I've been following you for a very long time, and I know that you're a very intelligent man. You're a lawyer, you know what you are doing. What I want to say, I'm a Robokel. Yeah, I'm a Robokel. But I know as the drafting of the map, I see that Robo is in Biafra. So I'll call myself Biafra. What I want to say that notice, with iPhone, when somebody is against maybe Nnamdi Kanu, anybody, they go on the internet and start to we shouldn't do that. We should come together now. There's no need. Everybody comes on level. Some people in Nigeria, or I'll say some people, they are still interested to be Nigerians. Why some want to be Biafra? Because of all the problems they're having in Nigeria. I understand. But we should respect people ideas. If somebody Nnadi has problem with other people, Biafra, we should not go after the people and start to insult and abuse them. I saw something on somebody abusing Shore because of what he wants to do. To me, I find that is not right. We should respect each other. We should stop this abusing.
All right.
So that everybody will come together.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Tony. Please. The discussion keeps going in the direction of, and you see, these are people who they love you. Everybody says, Tony, we love you, we respect you. I respect you too. A lot of the information you sent to me, I didn't know all that before, and so in a little while, I've come to compress all this information. Everybody, including me, is for the way forward. There is so much information to be absorbed that it may be difficult for us to absorb it now. So the thing is, the way forward, the way forward, the way forward. I hope I still have you online.
I'm here.
Go ahead, Tony.
We have a plan on the table. That plan has been pushed step by step religiously according to how it was scripted. And God has been infinitely merciful to us to even provide more ample opportunities of success with the things happening in the land, at least in the last 5 years. And we've actually come in that plan to where the presence of the Fulani, the next step, we had advertised the date for when it will be taken, was where the presence of the Fulani will be legitimate on your space, in my space, in Ibadan, in other places, until we resolve the question of the union, whether we are still in the union. Anybody who does not want to look at that plan, because even now, it is that plan that has to be pushed through. You don't go to get the tires of a 911 lorry and put on this Boeing 747 aircraft, or the steering of a trailer into the cockpit of a jet fighter. It is that plan, that same 8-point plan, that terminates in the dismantling of the constitution that empowered.
We lost Tony again. Okay, Tony is here.
Are we there? Good.
Yeah. I can still hear you.
As at today, Saturday, 23rd of May, what we need to do are those things that have been put on the table before all of the people who say they want out. If we do not adopt it, it is a plan. We've asked every one of them to please come forward with something different so that we can examine it and see whether we throw away our own that is not working to embrace their own. We need cohesion. We need cohesion in our immediate region. I hope you understand that. That has not changed.
All right.
We need alliance in which the Yoruba and the Middle Belt and all of those who are facing that Fulani threat are holding together on one side against the side that is threatening their lives and their livelihoods.
Tony, let me help with a question that a lot of people have asked. I've seen people send the question to me.
Can you let me finish with this?
Okay, go ahead, Tony. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm saying that the need to have cohesion in our immediate sub-region, that's the Lower Niger, in which the Ijaw, the Ogoni, the Anang, the Efik are feeling they are in the same project. They are actually in the same project with you to push out this enemy. Unlike where they have been brought to where they are coming out one after the other to disown the Biafra, the type of Nnadi is advertising to them. I'm sure you've seen many of them coming out. So unless something happens to abate that, you have a divided home front. Unless something happens to abate what the Yoruba is feeling, what the Middle Belt is feeling in this matter of being insulted day and night by people who think who are talking as if it's only the Igbo that have the problem. They are being killed in their places too. Unless you find an answer to that, you are wasting your time.
No, hold on.
LNC has that in place. Then those who have the capacity, those who can pull the red card, those who can ask the Fulani to stop, and they stop today. We have them. They are the ones complaining to us that what this other, renegade character is doing is distorting the framework of what they have agreed with us to do for us. The US took their time in listening to us. They saw that we have a plan. I'm sure you saw the pictures from Washington in the middle of last year. They took their time what attracted them was that we had a plan. There are 200 million people in this space. It's not only the Igbo that are in distress or in that threat. All of the people in other places are in that threat. Who has taken a plan that can solve the Igbo problem, solve the Yoruba problem, solve the Juku problem, solve the Tiv problem, the Biram problem? It is this same program. And in all the people, in all of what we need to present a common front in the place where we can find help, the only setback all of us have is this bunch of criminals. And I'm saying to our people, if we cannot find the courage, to tell them to go to that.
Please, go ahead. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hi, good. Are you talking to me?
Yes, please. You're online now.
Right. Thank you very much. My name is Dr. I'm calling from London here. Well, okay, thank you for this wonderful program that you are anchoring this today. And I just want to say something here. Very, very important for our people to understand. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Everybody can hear you.
Right.
Did you tell us your name? You didn't tell us your name and where you're calling from. Sorry.
My name is Ugochukwu. I'm calling from London here.
Okay, Ugochukwu.
Thank you very much. Right. I just want a quick one. I just want to let the whole world understand something here. Not only our people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The thing is, in this freedom, yes, that we are fighting, we want to liberate ourselves from this Fulani Janjaweed because they are coming to kill everybody. Mm-hmm. They are coming to kill everybody. It doesn't matter if you're Duduwa, Biafra, or whoever you are. Ibibio, Ishekiri, everybody they are coming to kill because they said Nigeria belongs to them.
Yes.
But I have to let the whole world understand one thing. God bear me witness. I will not lie against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I will never lie against anybody. Yeah? But I will say the truth. Right? Because the truth is only something that is going to bring us out. But if you see the truth, he did not say it. At the end of the day, you will get the hidden agenda you have in your mind will surely come back to you. It might not come back to you direct, it might come back to your family or your children. That is how the whole world works. Don't look at it like, oh, whatever I'm doing now, I'm doing it to tarnish somebody's image. But when you see somebody who is doing the right thing, please tell him that he's doing the right thing. Why am I saying all this? I don't have any problem with every people that's fighting this freedom for we to liberate ourselves. But I have one problem with some people. Listen to me, Chase.
We're listening. Other people are calling. Just get to the point.
You know the problem Nnadi is having with Nnadi Kanu. Nnadi Kanu don't want to sell this freedom. Biafra understand it. He wants freedom, not money. He wants freedom. If you look at the way he speaks, the way he talks to Nigeria, He wants freedom. Tony Nnadi wants money. He doesn't want freedom for his people. The same thing applies to Asari Dokubo. The same thing. These are the people that want this struggle to want Fulani to overrun us. Forget about this thing. Tony Nnadi is sitting around you. Nnamdi Kanu is a criminal. Nnamdi Kanu is this. Please.
Okay, my brother. Okay, my brother.
Tell us how he defrauded you and Clifford the Urania.
Oh no, we are not. I'm not going to go into. Sorry, my brother. Sorry, my brother. You see, that's what I don't like now. You see, I gave you. No, but I gave you. No, see, I gave you an opportunity to speak, and if we are just going to open the line just for people to come here and you say this person did this and that makes a mess of all of this whole thing. I might as well just shut down this program right now. I want our people to leave here saying, hey, see, these people that are here now, this is what I have heard that we are going to do. If we are even saying that, hey, we have a plan, but we don't want to reveal this plan now because our enemies will know what we are doing. That would even be better. So please, it looks like it is very, very difficult. Hold on, please. The person on the line. Hold on.
My name.
Hold on. The person on the line. Just hold on. So.
All right. So
Hold on now.
Okay.
So please, if you're going to call here and you're going to insult anybody, and that's why I'm begging from my special guest today and from callers in, I don't want to hear what any other honestly, I'm going to invoke a doctrine of necessity now. I don't want to hear anybody blaming anybody again. After you have blamed somebody standing in front of you with a knife, I don't want to hear what we should have done. I want to hear what we should do next. The last caller did not make a contribution. He just started saying something that I don't want to entertain. So the person that is on hold, please ask a question about the way forward or tell us your suggestion about the way forward. Please, you're on the line. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
All right, my name is James. I'm calling from the United States, and my question is simple. I just wanted to ask Tony, what do you really want? Do you want to secede from the Nigerian state, or you want to build a new movement for a new Nigeria, which you've been proposing? I just want to know, can you tell me what you want? Do you want to secede and have a new country, or you want to go forward with a new movement for the new Nigerian state? Because your answer will determine what I'm going to say next.
Okay, Tony, please. It says, do you want to secede from Nigeria, or are you bent on pursuing the agenda of a new Nigeria for the Nigerians inside that country?
Movement for the new Nigeria that you've been proposing. What do you want? Like
even yourself now.
Okay, he's talking now. Tony is talking, please.
All right.
Between the crashing of that 1999 constitution that creates the union and the map that have been displayed showing the formations in which everybody can proceed.
From the show. Watch the show on YouTube. Go ahead, Tony.
Yes. I said between the crashing of the constitution that holds Nigeria in place and that map, the one that is broken into four, showing the formations in which things will proceed.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who does not know where the matter will land, since there must be a referendum before we even go back to any discussion, can keep his ignorance. That's all I want to say about that. Somebody I told in confidence that there must be something that will bring us to the point where the prison we're held is the prison wall is brought down.
Tony, are you answering the caller, or are you talking about Nnamdi? The caller asked you.
He's talking. He said he's still asking me after watching you whether it is to build Nigeria of new Nigeria that I'm talking about, or there's no Nigeria to secede from. What the LNC has done is to poison the bloodstream of that monster holding all of us down, so that the monster can collapse and everybody will live from it. It is a totally different ball game from the secession that their mind is stuck in secession. Their mind is stuck in secession.
Okay.
Somebody says you can't get away from this prison because of the nature of the walls. Let us take down the walls. We are not the only ones in this prison. If
Okay,
anybody
Tony.
doesn't understand that, that person can just go do any other thing.
All right. The last call, please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, hello Chidi. Good afternoon. I'm calling from London.
Okay.
My name is I reside in Hong Kong anyway, but I just came into London. My name is Chinan. So there's something I want to answer Tony Nnadi. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He always saying Nnadi Kanu is a criminal to base. Did Nnadi Kanu steal from him? That was my question number one. My question number two, he's been fighting for new Nigeria, so-called new Nigeria.
My friend, moderator, if you do not, moderator, can I interrupt you?
Hold on.
Moderator,
Tony wants to say something. Hold on. Tony, go ahead.
If the explanation I gave about the movement for new Nigeria, which is actually movement for no Nigeria that has delivered, is objective as I speak with you, that constitution is gone, that union is gone. What will follow will go through referendum. Anybody who is not satisfied with that can proceed with whatever else.
Okay. All right.
That's what I've spent 20 years, that is now in the 21st years to do, in the 21st year to do, to take down that constitution and free all of those it is holding.
All right.
Anybody who is still thinking in terms of himself alone jumping into freedom without any plan for how to leave that prison, no plan whatsoever other than falsehood.
Okay, Tony. We have another caller on the line. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Or you were trying to finish your call. I'm confused too.
Call,
please, sorry, my brother. So finish your call. Yeah.
I answered a question before. What did Nnadi Kanu steal from him?
No. You see, sorry, sir. I don't want to go to that again because I would want to do that when I have Tony and Nnamdi Kanu, because remember where it's going to take us to. Tony is going to say something here. Nnamdi is not there to defend it. I really want us to focus on going for. Nah, my brother. Wow. These people are killing.
Let me forget that side because I've been trying to call in so I can.
Please. Yeah, go ahead, Biko. Now that you have.
Mm-hmm. So what I'm trying to say now, yeah. Since Tony has been chasing this project for going through something years now.
Yeah.
And nothing is really bearing fruit. In Nigeria, we don't know what is happening abroad. Like you said, Washington, this, that, no. But the IPOB movement has been bearing fruit in the southeast, even some of the south he's talking about. Yeah, the youth are the people. They're standing behind Nnadi Kanu. When he was arrested, the whole southeast and south was shut down. Why Tony did not go and build forces with Nnadi Kanu to make this right?
Okay.
So
all right.
Insulting, blabbing.
All right.
Blaming people like just what Buhari was blaming Jonathan when we entered the Jonathan. How do you forget what you're supposed to do?
Okay.
All
right. Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Thank you. That question, I think that question has already been answered. Please, who is the next caller? Your name and where you're calling from.
Hello, my name is Prince Chimobi Eze.
Go ahead, Chimobi Eze. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Benin.
Okay, go ahead, Chimobi.
I'm so much happy for what you are doing. Ntoni, I greet you in the name of Chukwukike Abiyama. There is something that I don't understand this time around. We are fighting for this freedom. Because I like what Nnadi Kanu is doing. He's fighting a lot of things. Many people are facing him right now. But this Ntoni, if they can able to arrange meeting together, all of them that are fighting this freedom, I will be so much happy. Because this thing will bring peace, not divide. Every time, I don't understand why our people.
Hello. Keep.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah. Just finish so that there's another person on the line.
I want to call. I want to contribute. I want to contribute to the
No,
live
no.
stream.
Hold on. Let the last caller finish.
Okay.
The caller from Benin, can you round up, please?
That again because I would want to do that and I have Tony
Yeah.
and because remember where it's going to take us.
Hello.
Tony's going to say. Hello, I'm listening. Are you there?
Can you round up, please?
Okay, okay. Is Tony Nnadi there?
He's listening to you. He's been listening to you. You say you want
Okay, okay,
everybody
okay.
to come
Okay.
together. Yeah.
Yeah. Tony Nnadi is a man that, first of all, my name is Henry, and I'm calling from United States, from Washington.
Okay.
Tony Nnadi is a very person I have a very big respect on.
Mm.
You understand? And in this kind of, at this stage, I don't want an education that will start bringing Tony Nnadi and Nnamdi Kanu to a show like this to come and share or come and display their power puzzle or something like that. This is not what you need now. Honestly speaking, what really we need now is just as Nnamdi Kanu is listening to this live show on Worship Me Media on his own, either Tony Nnadi or Nnamdi Kanu on his own, either they are people or they have something like a relationship, they have a touch to each other. They can talk whatever personal something because what I'm seeing there is not about IPOB. I'm seeing something personal between two of them, which that has to be settled by both of them, not callers or any contributor who will come in as a mediator to say to them. No, nobody is there to them. All we need is to aggregate the problem, to put fire on it, because you'll be waiting here now, maybe on life now to listen to everybody's contribution. They will even be making it worse.
All right.
They will even be making it worse. So this Nnamdi Kanu is live. That one is another different ball game. But as it is, only doing Nnamdi, try to address the callers. Understand? Let them not bring power sources between Nnamdi Kanu and Tony Nnadi. Understand? Because Tony Nnadi, I know for sure, he's fighting. Yes, he's fighting for freedom of Biafra. Yes, it's not.
All right. All right.
Not because of the situation, because it's in Nigeria. So there is a way people in Nigeria does their own activities. So it will not be the same way that you in diaspora that does yours.
Yeah.
Understand? Does yours. So that is all I want to say. Understand? If anybody wants to come into this, make sure that the person don't cross that line. Once the person wants to cross the line to bring power source between him and the Carlo and the phone, just cut the person off because.
All right. Thank you very much. Tony, you can see that this thing, like you said, once the calls start coming in, it just begins to disrupt everything. We don't even know where we are at anymore. But what I want to ask you a direct question, and this is based on what I'm hearing from all the people that are contributing. Tony, are we expecting, or should I put it this way? When was the last time you had an opportunity to even speak with Nnamdi Kanu directly? Is it something that has happened recently? And if not, are we expecting that kind of thing is possible in the near future?
Let me tell you, I have ruled that out. And the reasons, most of the reasons, just that you were not listening, some of the listeners were not also listening. I've ruled that out because I've done too much of that already. And the project is at risk right now. As recent as June 2019, at the time we had gone to Capitol Hill and done what we did, he already announced to his, in the Syria lives, he already announced to his listeners that it was because he was in the US that those things were happening. And he came to Houston trying to have a meeting with me, just to get a photo opportunity. The elders, Igbo elders in Houston, and I'm going to call their names so that you can ask them whether this happened. J.O.S. Okeke in Houston, I'm sure you know him. Mazia Kuche in Houston, I'm sure you know him. The leadership of World Igbo Congress, Anthony Ejiofor, I'm sure you know him. A number of other people. They tried to set up a meeting. I was invited because I had a town hall, LSC town hall in Houston. I sat down with them and showed them what had happened in all those 6 years. And I gave them 2 conditions for if there will be a meeting. Those 2 conditions must be met. Those 8 points of strategy that can take down the monster holding us and free everybody from it. Any organization, any individual that is not bringing a better plan and is not willing to adopt that plan can go ahead doing whatever else they choose to do. I will not commit 1 second of my time or energy with that group. If there's a better plan, I want the basis of any meeting will be that there is a plan that will have to be compared with the one we put on the table. Those 8 points, if anybody accepts 7 and says he won't accept any one and he doesn't bring an alternative to that one, still it's as bad as it's like a vote with 8 blocks. It is those 8 in the minimum. Secondly, I said beyond the question of the plan that has to be merged, the plan we will be discussing, because it's a matter of coming up with one plan, that unless Clifford Iroanya brings in Nnadi to a meeting, I will not attend that meeting. And the reason I said so was simple. Clifford Iroanya was the witness to all of what transpired between myself and him concerning this matter of what is the route map, what is the strategy. And to tell you, will you believe that somebody who is on the same side with you in a matter like this could send a message to the President of the United States of America to say that somebody in his organization, actually his second in command at the time, had joined Boko Haram and were targeting attacks in the US. The FBI was unleashed on Clifford. The saving grace was that Clifford had filed a suit in Florida against Candy Stewart, who sent that message to Trump. There's a judgment from the court in Florida on that issue, listing the 6 people, because Candy Stewart went to court and confessed in a plea bargain that it was Nnamdi Uchemefo and 4 other people, 6 of them. Their names are in that judgment. I'm going to forward it to you after this. It's even on Facebook. Somebody posted it last week again. It was published in Guardian newspaper in Nigeria, that she came to confess that on account of some difficulty inside the organization, they concocted that story and sold to her to put forward. And the FBI was unleashed. And Clifford had gone to court before FBI got to Houston. If he hadn't gone to court, Clifford would have been a missing person. Nobody will know what happened to him, because he told Nnamdi that they can't continue in the journey inside the forest of 1,000 demons without a roadmap. That was his only offense. And I said to those elders in Houston and elsewhere that unless Nnamdi is brought to a meeting by Clifford, let nobody call me into any meeting. And before that, let them also have a written plan of how that Biafra will be delivered, which will then be compared with the plan I gave to them. I hope you understand it, that there must be an alternative plan. There must be an alternative plan, and that I will not go to any meeting that does not have present the witness between all of what transpired. Those who are talking about leadership tussle, I've never been part of their Biafra campaign in any of the organizations. The only thing I've done with them is to show them a plan that can deliver the outcome they want. The ones who are honest in this whole thing had since embraced that plan and gone forward with it. The only one standing by the side is Nnadi and his people, then one Emeka that is going about talking nonsense all over the place. You understand? So if you have a plan that you want discussed for how the matter can be finished better, you come with that plan. If you don't have a plan and you're not willing to adopt a plan that is already done more than 80% executed, I will not waste my energy on you. But as for whether that business will be finished, as we are, what we need to finish the business is entirely intact. There's no one day of delay that will be occasioned by the fact that some people, the train has already moved. You saw the Yoruba at the UN. You saw what the Middle Belt had done. You saw the operations in charge.
Are you
So
asking
in all
me?
of that, I'm asking you.
The Boko
So
Haram.
I'm telling you that our people from wherever they are listening across the world should rest assured. They should rest assured that the process will get to its terminus.
Okay.
Those who are in it are sufficient to take it to an end. Those who came to make profit in it, that have gone about telling lies and maligning everybody else, their lies will end up with them.
All right. Thank you so much. I think I have. We'll be closing in 6 minutes, guys. This was probably going to be the last caller, and then we will allow Tony to round off. Sorry, I had to call you back. Have you made your contribution yet?
No, I'm trying to connect to the discussion with Tony Nnadi, but I'm not getting through.
Okay, you're on now. Can you please keep it short and straight to the point?
But I haven't been picked.
Huh?
I'm on now.
You're on now. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Forget about the one you're watching. That one you need to even turn it down.
Okay. Let me do that. Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Tell us your name and where you're based.
I'm calling from London. My name is Emeka.
Okay.
I'm calling from London.
Okay, Emeka.
Yeah. Can I bring my contribution now?
Yes, in 1 minute, Emeka. And keep it civil,
Okay.
please. Just
Very simple.
and civil
It is
too.
very. Yeah?
And civil, like respectful.
Yes, of course. I'm too mature for that.
Okay.
It is very, very disheartening and painful that we who called ourselves so-called Biafrans, whether you are from South, whether you are from so-called Niger Delta or Biafra, that we cannot be able to have a consensus and form a formidable force to face our enemy, people who are facing annihilation, people who are facing completely disintegration and destruction, are busy arguing whether this person did this to you or whether that person, it is disappointing and disgusting. It is very, very saddening that in this 21st century, we, the southern Nigerians, whether it is the Biafrans, in these people called Biafra, we need to have a consensus. What are we fighting for? We want Biafra and nothing but Biafra. Who are the enclaves that make up Biafra? So, Asari Dokubo, Tony Nnadi, Nnamdi Kanu, and whoever cannot be able to come together and build a consensus and think and move with one mind and with one force. It is very big shame to all of us. We are wasting our time, and people are dying every day. Sad to watch this.
Thank you. Thank you very
It
much.
is painful and
Thank you.
heartbreaking.
Thank you.
Can I
Tony,
answer him
we're
very
gonna
quickly?
be
Everybody else.
Go ahead.
The last caller, this answer is for you. Everybody, I'm sure you have seen the video in which Asari Dokubo was rebuking the people doing Niger Delta Republic and the ones doing Biafra of Igbo, the type Nnamdi is doing, to say that it is by integration of effort that we can get anywhere, and that there is a lower Niger Congress which was a part of forming that framework that has brought everything together. Everybody else, whether in the lower Niger, in the balance of the south, which is Yoruba, in the middle belt, are together on one side of this matter. In that lower Niger, all the nationalities are together in embracing the plan that can take them out of this mess. The only problem all of them have on our own side is this directionless, in throwing of insult and peddling of falsehood and propaganda, dividing people who already agreed to work together. Have you not seen all of those who are coming forward to say that this is not how they are going to do it? So all of those who need to work together are already working together. Those who choose to make noise built on propaganda and falsehood, they can continue. But I can assure you that those who have to work together to take down that monster are completely intact, and they're going to get to their destination.
All right, Tony, I am going to give you time to round up, but let's just take this last caller because we've been trying to get through. Please, sir, can you keep it very civil, and then let's us round up the program. So tell us where you are calling from and your name. Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, you're on. Can you turn down the other device where you're listening to us, and then tell us your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Prosper Jero. I'm calling from Switzerland.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, I don't know, since you've been listening to Tony Nnadi and the way he's talking, my question is this. There's a statement he made. He says he has never done anything with Nnadi. He has never been part of the organization, his organization or anything. Then how come that he calls Nnadi a fraud? And then ask what I just let him just explain, give us a small detail of what made him to use that term to call another person. Not done anything with him, not transacted any business. Why should he use that term a fraud?
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, like I said before, with due respect even to you, Tony, I don't want to start going into that. We already spent 3 hours on this program, and at this point, let me just assure people that every good part of this program will be aired back, properly. We'll remove all the glitches there. We have it recorded. Now, Tony, as we round up, I've tried so hard to make us focus on the way forward. One thing I would like to say from my own part is, you've a lot of times you have tried to recount how some people have made it difficult for you to work with them, and you even said at a point that because no matter how we've tried to not make this about you and Nnamdi Kanu, it ended up being that most of the times. You said there was a time Nnamdi Kanu came and said, if somebody doesn't want this his part, it is his part or the highway. I hear you also saying that in your organization you have laid a roadmap, and if anybody does not accept that roadmap, you said there are about 8 or 10 points.
There are eight objective issues.
Okay, so you say that in those 8 objectives, that you will not even accept even 7 or 6. Everybody must align with that 8 for you to discuss with them. I'm wondering, will it not make us just have so many parallel, routes to where we are going? So if you just dwell on that a little bit, then you will just round up with your closing remarks, and we'll end the show.
Let me tell you what those 8 points are. The irreducible minimum. The first one is the matter of map. Where exactly does that territory begin and where does it end that you want independence for? Is that up for debate? I'm asking you now. Is it something we can do without? No. I want the listeners to understand it's not as if it is something I designed in my corner for my own satisfaction. Can we do without a definite map for the territory we want independence for? That's the number one. The LNC has a map that has been discussed with all of those nationalities in that map. And that brings us to the second point. What have you discussed with all those people who disagreed with us in 1967 that makes you now go to the third party, maybe the UN or anywhere, to say that you are speaking on their behalf or you are all coming together to seek independence? The LNC has done that in terms of going to get them to agree that this is where they want to go, and they came forward. Anybody who wants to verify that should go to YouTube and click Solemn Assembly of the Peoples of the Lower Niger. They will see exactly how it happened in video. That's number two. The other people have not gone there to sit down with them in Ijo land, in Ogoni land, in Anang and Efik lands, to get them, other than announcing to them from afar that there's a Biafra, because the use of that phrase, that name Biafra for campaign, presupposes the inclusion of the lands of those people. And if you have not discussed with them and agreed with them so that they can go with you, you are back to where you were in 1967. So the LNC will not touch that. A Biafra that is not discussed with those who are in that territory, shown on that map. The third is, it is the Constitution of Nigeria that holds us down where we are. It is that Constitution that defines us as Nigeria. It is that Constitution that took our assets. It is that Constitution that is the reason we don't have gun to defend ourselves. And the LNC has a plan that has been activated already to take down that Constitution. Anybody who does not bring a better plan that will take down that Constitution and end this union is not likely to find LNC wasting any time with that person. That's number three.
Tony, can you round it up? Just summarize it.
That's what
You've talked about it before.
No, for the people who are asking, as if there's something that I will take home to drink palm wine with, that is the issue. No, it is these are the objective issues of strategy and methodology. If we don't work with them, we are bound to fail. If you come with a map, you have not discussed with the owners of the lands included in that map, are you not at the end of your journey already? Because they're going to disown you.
Okay.
If
Tony,
you don't have a plan that will, if we say, okay, we're fed up today, the alliance of 1967 that included the Middle Belt and the Yoruba and parts of the Niger Delta can be activated against you. This type of Biafra that begins in Aba and ends in Umuahia, because you have not gone to talk with Ijo and Ogoni and Anang and Efik, is bound to be back to isolation, with all the other people who you are insulting coming up against you, with no international, back up, nothing to come to your aid if you get into trouble. The LNC, on the other hand, had reached out to all of those who were in that alliance in 1967 to move away from that alliance into the MNN alliance. MNN is actually an alliance to take down that monster as defined by that constitution. And that's number 5 or so. You come to the matter of the mechanism for ending this matter, the one of referendum. Referendum will not fall from the sky. You have to precipitate a situation that now requires some kind of resolution. And what the LNC has done is something that has been discussed with them at the UN, armed with the instruments of the UN that regulate the situation, the rights of indigenous people in their spaces. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I just didn't see your picture for a while. So
don't worry, go ahead.
That is the matter of how we can arrive at that referendum from all these processes that have been done. The other thing is the interface between where we want to go and the existing constitutional order. You remember that in South Africa, it came to the point in 1990 where the actions of those who are rejecting apartheid had become such that the government had to accept that apartheid constitution could no longer be the basis of the union. And so they went into a transitioning. That way, you don't go into cataclysm, the type that can happen when you just begin to shoot and they begin to shoot at you. And so the LNC says there must be a transitioning that can interface with the existing constitutional order to the point where we are voting in a referendum. And the matter of what the international community will do, the international stakeholders, the ones who can actually go to a Security Council and decide what they will come here to do. Who has gone to discuss with them? Who has gone to secure some kind of action that, like the type we have done, everybody is seeing? So we are saying that we can't do with anyone, we can't do without any one of those. Anyone you leave out is going to create its own problems. For you can solve all the other problems, but that one will make you fail. And so we said, unless somebody brings a better plan, if there is something you bring to say, instead of this way, why not that way? We will look at it. Everybody will look at it. That's the only thing the LNC had insisted upon. And having discussed with, at the last count, 42 different Biafran organizations. Bilie, as we hear about them, Enekwechis, Biafran government in exile, all of the, you can't imagine the number of them. We put this plan on the table to say, do you have a better plan? Their leaders are still all alive. Call them and find out whether we did not come to them. We did not leave any one group out. So if those who want to have this outcome, those who have seen the plan that can deliver the outcome they want, we're talking about independence, we're talking about self-determination. We say leave the word Biafra out of it so that you don't create a problem you cannot solve. The moment we get to voting at referendum, there's nothing standing between us and calling ourselves any name as we walk into our independence, as we walk into our freedom. The Ijaw already came forward to say, look, it is an Ijaw man that brought that Biafra name in 1967. Let us do the first things first. And these are the people who are doing what you call the militancy in the place. They said, let us do first things first, and then the matter of the name by which we go into the independence will be resolved there as a part of the terminal point, so that we can get to where we're going. The moment you call it Biafra, you already make the rest of the journey impossible at this stage. That's what we've been trying to whisper to them. They didn't listen. Today we are now saying it on air for the whole world to hear, that we have madmen in the house who are not prepared to listen to anything. People are being killed. Ojukwu that was at the one extreme of that war was on the drawing board of this plan. He saw something better than what they did before. Achuse was in that plan. Achebe called our people in the US to get them to find out from Ejiofor whether Chino Achebe did not plead with our people to go and listen to what will solve this problem in 2012 before he passed on. They were busy chasing other things all over the place. And then people began to wave the Biafran flag that does not represent anything. How does it become? How does it become?
Okay. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Well, the reason why we do this kind of programs is just so that we give people an opportunity to air their opinion. I'm glad that you gave us an opportunity, and we are positive that somehow God will help all of us to see beyond our differences and tackle the issues that has befallen us right now, the immediate issues, even as we pursue our long-term plans. Thank you so much, Tony Nnadi, for coming on the program. And when we invite you next time, please honor us with your presence. Thank you very, very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
And thank you, viewers. Thank you, viewers, for being with us these last 3 hours.
Okay. So thank you very much, sir. I'm gonna cut off with you now.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so my people, that was that was Tony Nnadi on the program. I know we have a lot of people calling. I don't know that I can take some more calls. He's already out of the interview. But personally, I hope we can see from this interaction that there is a lot of work that is left to be done. I'm just going to leave it there. There is so much work that is left to be done. Sorry I cannot take your calls. We have already spent 3 hours. We're going to be having um, Nnamdi Kano's broadcast on Sunday. We're going to be, that's tomorrow. I think it's 7 p.m. Nigerian time. It is 2 p.m. or Biafran time, as Nnamdi Kanu will want to address that. So please tune in tomorrow by 7 p.m. West African time. We shall be bringing Nnamdi Kanu's broadcast live. And on Tuesday, we have Chiduka is going to come here, and we will be interviewing Chiduka. You guys know him, and it's going to get more and more interesting. Another thing that we are planning to do is to have um, just like they have different languages, different channels. We're creating a channel that is devoted entirely to Igbo language and Igbo affairs, and we will also share that channel very soon. And if you are interested in anything Igbo and Igbo language, Igbo culture, and all of that, you'll be able to come to that channel and we can share together. On behalf of all of us here in the Toronto studios of Worship Media, Dr. Erica, and everybody who works to make these things happen, I really want to say I appreciate you. I thank you for always supporting us. I thank you for enduring this long interview. And please continue to come back whenever we have another interesting guest on this program. God bless you and take care. Bye bye.